The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
There is a major ripple effect of Mike McCarthy being let go, being ousted, however you want to put it, from the Cowboys. How does that impact the Jets? It does. We'll talk about that and more. Will Parkinson joins us in his weekly spot on the program. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Who's the coach? Who's the GM? Who's the quarterback? At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button and please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, I'm really pushing hard for some subscribers during today's show because as I sit here right now on Monday, January 13th at approximately 4:07 Eastern Standard Time, I am about 70 memberships away or 70 subscribers away from 41,000. So please subscribe if you have not hit the button yet. It goes a long way towards this channel continuing to grow. For those of you who caught the first show, we hit enough memberships, over 300 entries for our raffle. That will be coming up a bit later. So every membership you gift going forward goes towards our next prize. And the grand prize for raffle number 12, I'm excited to share, is a signed helmet by Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. So if you're interested in that, all memberships going forward will go towards the Garrett Wilson signed helmet. But we will be doing the raffle for the full-size Jet helmet and the Super Bowl III ring, among other prizes, in just a little bit. With that all said, let's say hello right now to our dear friend, the host of the Turn on the Jets podcast, Will Parkinson. Will, happy Monday, man. First time we're doing this in a while after, no loss for the Jets, I'd say, after a game, but we know how that went this year.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna bite my tongue on that one. We are bleep deep in coaching and GM talk. No losses today, at least for right now.
No losses for now. I guess that's a positive for all the Jet fans out there.
Just interviewed as the Jets head coach. Wow. They at least did him that solid. Good for the Jets.
Do you think he did it over Zoom, or did he actually fly down to Palm Beach to interview for a job he has a 0% chance of getting?
I wonder. That's a good question. I'll try to find out. I don't know. That's an interesting I'd be interesting to see. I just out of curiosity, be interesting to see whether he's afford the luxury of interviewing in person or got a nice Zoom call from Woody.
Jets announced they've completed an interview with Jeff Ulbrich. Well, he could have just showed up, said hello, and then they could have announced they completed the interview.
You could have said, do you like the word strain and watch the tape? If so, you're a candidate.
They said to him, Coach, we got to take a hard look at things before we let you know our decision.
So much strain from Michael Clemens. Just so much strain.
Anyway. Well, let's talk about Mike McCarthy, Will, because when the news broke, originally it felt like, oh, okay, Dallas is going to work out a contract extension with McCarthy. They didn't let him interview for the Bears job last week, so it feels like he's going to be back. That is not the case. Mike McCarthy will not return as the head coach of the Cowboys, and there's a bunch of Jets angles here that I want to hit on because the first thing I think we should discuss is, okay, now it's another team that needs another head coach, so some of the coaching candidates they want to speak to very well could be candidates the Jets have conducted interviews with. But let me start with this question. If you're the Jets, would you consider hiring Mike McCarthy? Because I got to be honest. I look at his resume. I look at the fact that he has dealt with a quote-unquote meddling owner in Jerry Jones, tough media environment in Dallas. Mike McCarthy actually, you could argue, makes a lot of sense for what the Jets kind of need right now. So I maybe a couple months ago I would say no way. Now I'm like, yeah, they definitely should talk to Mike McCarthy. Why not?
Yeah, I think Mike McCarthy's resume is far better than the perceived. I tweeted like, I don't know, maybe it was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, Jake. I tweeted just Mike McCarthy's a good coach. Not about the Jets, not about anything else. Everyone just hold on once. Everyone was very angry about that tweet. And I was like, he's a good coach. I didn't say he's Vince Lombardi, but he's certainly not Adam Gase the way I feel like he's talked about at times. I mean, pretty much every year there'll be between a 9 and 11 win team, 9 to 12 wins. You'll probably lose in round 1 or round 2. He's kind of got a similar resume to Tomlin. He doesn't have a lot of fun quotes. He's not cool at all. But he's successful. And do I think the Jets should talk to him? Yeah, I do. I mean, they've talked to far worse candidates than that. Do I think they will? Probably not. I think McCarthy, Samini was on my pod like an hour ago, and he said he thinks that McCarthy would have been interested. But it feels like the Jets are kind of already deep in their process. The Bears had at least expressed interest, previously. The Bears and the Saints probably make the most sense for him. Quarterback. I don't know about the Saints. I mean, other than that he coached there, and maybe he'd be willing to take that job, and he'd have a lot of, luxury of time on his side and things like that. The Saints are an abject disaster. I don't know why I continue to see like, oh, the Jets are the worst job. Like they're not. This isn't being a homer. They're not the worst job. But yeah, the Jets would certainly talk to McCarthy. I think, would he excite the fan base? Probably not. Is he a better candidate and higher than like a Matt Nagy? Yeah. Like the Jets with McCarthy, I would say, I don't know. Whether you probably project them about 9 wins next year, roughly.
I think this year, they might be a 10-win team with McCarthy as their
coach.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it would have been far better with McCarthy this year. McCarthy did a good job, actually, in Dallas, keeping it together.
He won 12 games 3 straight years. He had a winning record over 5 years. Tough environment. I mean, he was 49 and 35.
He's not great at the end of games. That's probably the biggest criticism of him. I think that he's a little bit conservative at times for an offensive coach. Generally, it's kind of the opposite. He's more of that defensive. He's got more of a mentality maybe of late 2000s, early 2010s in terms of just like his aggressiveness. But he's a good coach.
Yep.
He's good with quarterbacks. Guys win MVPs under him. Guys are all pros. Like he's not like he's not successful. But I don't know if it's like right time, right place for McCarthy with the Jets. 2019 would have been a great time to hire McCarthy looking back at it. They totally botched that.
They hired Adam Gase,
Hired Adam Gase and Darnold at that time frame. Maybe Douglas and McCarthy, maybe that's a better combo because McCarthy would have been a better offensive mind. And maybe we're talking about McCarthy getting an extension at this point with the Jets.
Now, remember, though, it wasn't Douglas at that time. It was still
McCagney, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but like I said, I think he's at least, if you're being objective and you're not being emotional about it, would be a very much a legit candidate for the job. He checks a lot of the boxes. He's an offensive coach, experienced. He's won. He's handled the meddling owner. But I get the sense that the Jets, it's more Glenn Flores than it is maybe McCarthy. Things could always change. But I would say, like, at least right now, I get the sense it's more of those two guys.
Yeah, I like the idea of it because the more you look at his resume, I mean, he'd at least would establish like a culture, a winning pedigree, and he dealt with a lot in Dallas. That is one of the hardest jobs in all of sports. And I'd argue being the Jet head coach, just like being the Jet quarterback, is one of the hardest jobs in sports. So he's built for it. Plus, I'm someone that would prefer, in the right scenario, Aaron Rodgers to be the Jet quarterback for at least one more year. And I know, it ended poorly with him in Green Bay, but him and Rodgers still are close, is my understanding. McCarthy agreed to participate in the Netflix documentary on Rodgers. And I was able to pull this clip from the Pat McAfee show back in November. They were discussing the Dallas Cowboys and the adversity that they were dealing with this season. And they asked Aaron about it. And this was Aaron Rodgers. I edited it down a little bit, but here's Aaron Rodgers just talking about his relationship with Mike McCarthy.
No, Mike.
I love Mike. Mike's Pittsburgh tough through and through, man.
Love Mike. 13 incredible years together. So I ain't got much to say besides that, man. Mike's my boy. I love Mike. And listen. What I know about Mike is if anybody can handle that down there, it's Big Mike. Big Mike is built for adversity, and I know just talking to some guys that play down there, and I read part of an article that was out a few weeks ago about the tours and stuff that are down there. There's some interesting things that goes on in Dallas for sure. I've never been there, so I can't speak firsthand. But if anybody can handle what's going on in there, it's Big Mike.
I mean, it's
Big Mike.
It's a similar job, right? It's a similar type of job. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's a very similar type of job. It's big market, a lot of pressure, a team that, brand is probably better than the success on the field, and a meddling owner. Now, Jerry meddles far more than Woody does, but
Jerry's actually the GM. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference. He has a reason to meddle. No, look, I think they should talk to McCarthy, but I get the sense they won't. I could be wrong. They've talked to a lot of people. They should continue to talk to people if they haven't found the right guy. But I'd rather talk to Mike McCarthy than Arthur Smith.
You can't tell me you're doing your due diligence and you're going to interview Mike Loxley and you're going to interview Ron Rivera.
That was tough.
Stop it. You know what I mean? And I had no problem interviewing Ron Rivera. Obviously, I would prefer him than Mike Loxley, but you can't sell me on this wide-ranging, no stone unturned type of search the Jets are doing. And to this point, they haven't interviewed John Gruden. They haven't interviewed Pete Carroll, even though Pete Carroll has done 2 interviews with 2 other teams with openings. And you got to talk to McCarthy. You do. You have to talk to Mike McCarthy at the bare minimum.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really think there's a good reason to not at least have him in the room over Zoom. Now he can talk to anybody. It's not like you have to wait. A lot of these guys, they're gonna have to wait. Anyone that's still in the playoffs, they can't talk to this week. So you back channel and you do these different things, but nothing's gonna move on Aaron Glenn or Brian Flores or Nagy or a million other guys that are in the playoffs still. So why not talk to McCarthy? I would say this, Jake, and I know I'm probably harder on Rex. The idea of that when people were into, Rex coming back, I was probably harder on it. But Rex getting an interview and not potentially giving McCarthy and even a Gruden an interview to me is just what are you doing? That that to me is dumb. The Loxley thing I think was purely out of a favor, mixed with maybe a guy that could be Glenn's quarterback coach or maybe an offensive assistant type role. He was obviously an OC at Alabama, and he's been in an offensive role. He's by all accounts a good recruiter, a terrible do-it-all head coach, but he's been a good recruiter. Maybe they use him in some capacity, but yeah, that one would be interesting. I just don't understand. I feel like McCarthy is just what's the harm in talking to him? You talk to a guy who's won a Super Bowl and is in the playoffs pretty much every year. And even in a year where everyone on Dallas got hurt and a bad roster, they still were competitive pretty much every week. Isn't that a pretty good thing? I don't know. I just don't, I wouldn't understand what's the reason to not speak to him? Because he's prickly and he's fat. You know what I mean? What's the reason not to?
Look at Sean Payton's career resume. Look at Mike McCarthy's career resume. I mean, the difference is one guy's great with the media, has a lot of friends in the media, and the other guy kind of keeps to himself, is a fat, hefty fella. And it's not it's very similar. I used to say on the radio in Houston, Mike McCarthy is fat Sean Payton. Their resumes are almost identical. Each has 1 Super Bowl with a future Hall of Fame quarterback. It's very similar. If you really look at the career win-loss record, winning seasons, neither coach has been back to the Super Bowl since they won their initial Super Bowl. So I'm at least talking to him. But let's say, they don't even talk to him or he's not a candidate for the Jets. They're still impacted by this news because now Dallas needs a coach. I've already heard the name Brian Flores connected to the Cowboys. So that's something to watch. And plus, if McCarthy goes to, say, the Saints, they've been a team that's been linked to Aaron Glenn. Right now, Aaron Glenn is the betting favorite to be the Jets' next head coach. So all of a sudden, if the Saints were to hire McCarthy, I think the only logical spot for Glenn right now would be the Jets. So the Jets are impacted beyond just whether or not they talk to McCarthy. Dallas now needs a coach, and obviously McCarthy could fill a vacant spot with a candidate that maybe the Jets wanted they wouldn't be able to get. So your thoughts on how that potentially impacts things?
Yeah, so Connor Hughes mentioned that possibility. That makes sense if McCarthy went to New Orleans. I think the Jets are the favorite for Glenn. I think Glenn's the favorite for the Jets job. I think it will come down to those two teams. By all reports, the Cowboys have missed out on Aaron Glenn. I thought that might be, something there. Obviously with now another week for the Cowboys, Glenn's going to be, getting second and third interviews. I have a hard time believing he's going to basically put all his eggs in that basket. It certainly could impact it. I think I've heard Joe Brady has some big fans in the Saints organization. That's another name that will be interviewing for the Jets that, has potential down in New Orleans. I think Glenn's going to have his pick, and I think that'll impact Flores and Brady and McCarthy and others that are kind of in that mix of in between a couple of jobs, could be a favorite for one, maybe not a favorite for the other. Flores is going to be certainly very selective as well. This is a guy who, ownership and him necessarily didn't get along amazing down in Miami, and he's a guy who he's only going to get probably one more shot here. Glenn, at least, hey, you make a mistake. Look at Saleh. Saleh's cranking through interviews, at this point. So
Zach Rosenblatt predicted that he'll get the Jaguars job, by the way.
Dude, I'd heard as well. I did some Jags radio stuff Friday, and there's legit interest there. I couldn't believe the con. Our mutual friend Mia tweeted the Cons think he's one of the guys that got away, and I was like, did you watch the Jets the last 5 years? Wow, interesting. But yeah, man, I would just say Flores will be selective. I think Glenn's the favorite. I would say for the Jets, Flores is probably 2. I think those are the top 2 guys. McCarthy is probably right now in the mix with the Saints of Glenn, Brady, and McCarthy are the 3 that I would say have the best shot at the Saints job. The Cowboys job, I don't know what's going to happen, man. You've heard Gruden, Jason Witten, Kellen Moore. There is Dion. There's a lot of weird names. I don't know what they do. This is as dumb as it gets. McCarthy was on an expiring deal. The whole staff's been on an expiring deal. They had a week and a half to negotiate with him, and a whole year, by the way, to negotiate with him. Another week extra in his contract. Instead of making up their mind, they didn't let him interview with the Bears, so you assumed he was going back. Now we're in Monday afternoon when coaches have been interviewing for over a week, and now all of a sudden he's out. That is dumb, and even dumber. That is, I cannot believe. I can't believe they. If you were going to let McCarthy walk, let him walk. No one was going to give you a hard time for that. I don't know.
Well, they were silly because they missed out on Vrabel potentially. If they wanted Belichick, they missed out on.
Wanted this job, and they wanted Belichick. That's what I don't understand. Everyone so I don't know. Very dumb. Very Jets of them, to be honest.
Yeah, it was poorly handled. It's they were just indecisive, and then they were we'll just delay it. Oh, his contract's up today, and we haven't even talked about an extension. Yeah, we're just going to move on. And I don't know if you caught this, but based on the new rules now for the hiring processes that they've added over the last couple of years, they can't even speak to anyone that is currently with a team, in person until January 20th, 1 week from today. So they can only talk to Deion Sanders. They can only talk to Rex Ryan, Ron Rivera, Gruden, Carroll. They can't talk to anyone that's currently with a team because the NFL wants to slow down the process. So until next Monday, 1 week from today, they're basically going to be sitting there twiddling their thumbs and couldn't even get a head start on the process like what the Jets did, where they've already had Aaron Glenn in, at least over Zoom, expressing interest in talking with him.
Yeah, very, very, very poorly done. Like I said, this should have been – if you're making a decision on a whim like this, it's probably not the right decision. You had years to decide if Mike McCarthy was your guy. This is very dumb by the Cowboys. Big time. Maybe they'll get their guy, but you either better know you're going to get one of these guys or going in blind and Jason Witten being on the table that's a weird look, to say the least.
Gruden would be fun there. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't know how long it'd be more Parcells-ish when he went there, and it was like big personality. And like, what did he go there? 2004-ish, 2003, 2004-ish. So maybe it's something like that. But yeah, man, I'm a bit surprised. I thought McCarthy was going to end up back there, but sounds like Zimmer was going to be leaving anyway. It's Al Harris. I would interview as a DC if I was the Jets, but depends on who they hire as head coach.
I'm seeing the comments here. Beast Breaker's in the chat. Jake, I'm ready and I'm calm. Hang in there, Beast Breaker. Hang in there. If you missed the first show today, it was a wild one. Cincy Matt has a comment. How many memberships to keep the beast out of the hole for the whole show? Cincy, I'll tell you what, 20 memberships, and I will guarantee protection for the Beast Breaker for this show. We're going to do our raffle coming up later. So if you're just tuning in, we have Asmaniac raffle number 11, full-size helmet, Jet Super Bowl ring, amongst our prizes, plus our next raffle, which will be the 12th raffle we've done since December 1st, includes the Garrett Wilson autographed helmet that I will be sending to a lucky winner. So some announcements for those just tuning in as we talk with Will Parkinson, his podcast, Turn on the Jets, also part of the Badlands Network. So make sure you guys check out all of Will's work. He just mentioned it. He had Samini on the pod. Is that dropping today, Will?
That'll be dropping here shortly. Rich is not – me and Richmond Lyman, Borgonzi, Glenn prediction. I know everyone kind of pivoted to Grigson yesterday.
I hope not.
I'm going to stick with Borgonzi, Glenn as the what we get eventually. And I hope it's the case because Ryan Grigson would be a bleeping beast breaker disaster.
Very fair.
I don't want Bobby Midnight's health to have to deal with Ryan Grigson.
That's a good point.
Healthy.
Nate writes in, hire McCarthy, run it back with Rodgers, Woody Johnson, probably. So
I think Woody, I was going to say, I think there's other people that would be excited about that. I don't know that like Rodgers' biggest fan is Woody. I think like Chris maybe. I don't know about Woody.
Right. I think if it was Chris Johnson, it'd make sense. But everything we hear is that the relationship between Aaron and Woody is not great right now. Now, Woody said the right thing publicly about letting the next regime decide what to do at quarterback with Rodgers. But I think if it was up to Woody, he probably would say he doesn't want him back. But hopefully he truly lets the decision be made by his next regime. So everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the ship sailed with Rodgers. There's probably a small chance depending on the coach, but I don't know.
I'm watching these games yesterday, Will, and over the weekend, and I'm thinking, man, you can't tell me that Aaron Rodgers is not on the same level as some of these quarterbacks. He's not what he once was. We understand that, but you put him in the right situation, a real coach, and he's still more than good enough with the right team around him to get this team fighting for a playoff spot next year. I still truly believe that, and I felt more confident in that opinion I already had after watching the games this weekend.
Yeah, I just like I understand the allure of Rodgers. I supported him and defended him a lot, but I just feel like there was something that got broken at least this year, and especially towards the end. It felt like, even if you only pencil him in for 12 to 14, 15 games, it's like, I don't know. He's just not going to actively miss time unless, he's told he has to miss time. And obviously he doesn't go in for scans and stuff like that. It's the offense felt a bit stagnant at times. While they were good at times, they also still didn't score a bunch towards the end of the year, obviously the Miami game. But yeah, I don't know. I would pass on at this point. I think it might be, you take your medicine now. You hope first year head coach establishes a culture, his own, as much as I could talk myself into all these different things, yes, if Rodgers takes a pay cut and if he's really open to the new head coach and if he does this and if he does, it's you start to get into so many ifs and buts, Jake. It's you're kind of whoa, we're hoping 9 things are going to go right for the Jets all at the same time. I just don't know that that's realistic.
Yeah, look, it's contingent on definitely several of the factors you talked about, but I mean, you look at the quarterback options.
The quarterback options suck. It's why this decision, it's why this decision may become so difficult. I also think the part of the reason I'm saying that is I just think Rodgers is kind of done, with potentially football. I
He could retire too, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm pretty convinced he's going to retire. I feel like he had a lot of like come to Jesus moments this year of like, hey, I could still do it, but I don't know if I like really want to be signed up for potentially 20 plus weeks again. So I'm not opposed to Rodgers here by any means. I just don't know if it's realistic. I think that's why I've like trying to change my tune, is just because I'm more maybe mentally preparing myself for it to be over so I don't get hurt. Yeah, maybe that's why I've kind of I've changed my tune a little bit.
I feel like more likely than not he's not playing, but I could very easily see him retiring, and then if a team needs a quarterback when we get to the summertime, I can see him coming back.
It does. I think. I don't know. Pittsburgh is like one of those ones. New Orleans. See, to me, like I saw, hey, would he go to New Orleans? What for Rodgers would New Orleans do for him? Just to like hang out for a year? I don't know. That to me is like the division sucks, I guess, but still, that to me is like that roster is really bad, and I don't know. I don't know if I get that. That's one of the ones that I'm just like. I understand the McCarthy thing, but I guess him and Devontae going down, that like, can they even do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you even make that work.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the team, and I still do think, Will, I thought Vrabel, if they hired him, he'd want Rodgers, but I think it really does depend on the coach. Like, if they hired McCarthy, I think he'd want Aaron as his quarterback. Like, I think that goes without question.
1,000%. That to me, no question about
it. And you know what? It's probably not the worst idea given some of the alternatives. I mean, Aaron Glenn might be a good coach. He might be. I don't know. And what scares me is he's another first-time coach with a defensive background, and we have no idea. I mean, he could be awesome. He could stink. You know, Josh McCown could be awesome. I like the idea of Josh McCown, but he's never been a coordinator before. Is he ready to be a head coach? I really love watching Joe Brady. The guy's 35 years old. He's a few years older than us. Are we sure that he's ready to be the leader of the Jet franchise as the coach? It's one of the hardest jobs in sports. Like, the candidates outside of a couple, and they haven't even interviewed the guy I want them to talk to the most in John Gruden, and then there's Pete Carroll. Like, it's not that exciting out there. It's not. No. I feel like this is not a star-studded coaching class.
It is by name basis, but it's like there's flaws with all of them, and I guess that's why they're on the market, right? But you know, I'm disappointed they haven't spoken to Liam Cohen. I'm higher on Glenn than you. And just from the aspect of like, I think a lot of the appeal of Rex was pulling on the heartstrings, a little bit of success and different things. I guess if you want to go that route with Glenn was here in 94, obviously, I think 12th overall pick in 94. He was a big part of the culture and transition from the Jets being a laughing stock and, you know, back-to-back years of the first overall pick to conference title game, playoffs, or, you know, every year, pretty much from there on out for a while. He worked for the organization for a while. He's done front office stuff. He's coached on both sides of the ball. He's obviously primarily a defensive guy. And I thought Rich said something to me today that I think was my biggest question about Glenn was he's very unafraid of confrontation and very unafraid of holding people accountable. And to me, Salah's biggest issue, yes, you can talk about pressers and quarterback and all that stuff, and I get it. I'm not saying that's not – no one got held accountable for anything, and I thought the staff had zero ability to be confrontational. Hey, that was a stupid penalty. Not only like I'm not afraid to get in your face about it, these different things. And I think Glenn comes off as this like really nice guy, and I believe he is from everything we hear. But you know, he also got in Brian Branch's face on Sunday Night Football big time. I had no problem doing it. And that to me, if you're going to be like that, that's more in that I'm willing to be an asshole, but I'm also going to treat you like a human being. I think there's that fine balance of if Glenn's really going to be that guy, and you know, and one other thing Rich mentioned that I agree that he, you know, Glenn would want to build this thing kind of the way, not exactly the way the Lions were, but in a lot of ways of like the way the Lions could be multiple on offense, but at the end of the day, dominate offensive line and put a lot of speed around them. Like that sounds exciting. So if that's going to be his plan, that at least makes me feel better than Salah's like 2 yards in a cloud of dust and hope we score 14 points. That's to me a little bit of where that gets a little mushy and a little hazy.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Raffle, I promise you, is coming up. David Atkins is in for our next raffle, baby. which, if you missed the announcement, starting today, all memberships go towards the Garrett Wilson signed Jet helmet, baby. The most expensive purchase I have made yet for the Asmaniacs, and it is certainly well worth it. Thank you all for your support. AJ Johnson with a 16-month Asmaniac super chat. I'm on the Mike McCarthy train. Chew F and chew. If they hired McCarthy, I would not hate it at all. I would understand it. I mean, they're trying to get it right. They're trying to flip the culture around here. They're trying to take advantage of the talent they do have. I don't think they're going to, Will, but I'm telling you, I won't come out and crush the Jets if they hired McCarthy. I really
Absolutely
wouldn't.
not. I'd be like, good interview. That'd be my reaction. Hey, I'm intrigued.
I get it.
Not saying it's top of my list, but I'm also not saying it's on the bottom. Like he would have been somewhere of the candidates remaining. He'd probably be in the 4 to 5 range. Like
you know what he would do too, by the way? He would hire a good coaching staff. He had Dan Quinn on his staff. He had Kellen Moore on his staff. This guy, Brian Schottenheimer's on his staff. We laugh at how bad Schotty was. No, Schotty was way better than anything we've seen.
Been their OC for 4 years now, or whatever. Kellen Moore left.
Like, you could do a lot worse than McCarthy. So I'm with you. If they hired him, he's maybe not my first choice, but I'm okay with it. I'm in.
Yeah, I think you just like. I love Josh McCown, and I'm really intrigued at the possibility. Rich kind of poo-pooed it on the pod, which I'm not surprised. He just loves Minnesota, and it would take a lot for him to leave. I'm open to the idea of being creative, being a year early or even 2 years early than 2 years too late. Like, I totally get that with McCown. But if the other offensive minds, like Cohen would excite me more than McCarthy. Brady probably would, although I do have some questions on Joe Brady, although I think he's a good candidate. Outside of that, man, like, I'd rather have McCarthy than Cliff Kingsbury. Everyone thinks Cliff's awesome, and I understand it, but Jaden Daniels also was like kind of a can't-miss guy. And I don't know. Cliff as a head coach is very different than as an OC. Other than that, like, what are the other offensive-minded guys that are on the market that you're really excited about? Gruden? I'd probably rather have McCarthy, even though I like Gruden's funnier and like I am more entertained by him. But Gruden hasn't been successful as a coach in a while. McCarthy was successful 12 months ago. You know what I mean? So, like, if you really start to do the start to do the list of would I rather have this or that, McCarthy slowly. You ever heard of the Belly app, Jake? We should get you. Yes, it's basically like Belly with coaches, and like McCarthy doesn't sound exciting, isn't great. I'm not pushing him as like he should be the guy, but all of a sudden you start going McCarthy or this guy, and you're like 9.1. How did I get there?
Phenomenal analogy. Yep. 100%. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. 25, I see you. When is the Beast Breaker segment? Also, run me my tickets. I need that signed G5 helmet. Beast Breaker, you are official, or Beast Breaker 25, you are officially in for 5 raffle tickets for our next Asmaniac raffle after we do the one today. Thank you, my friend. For those new to the show, $20 super chat is the equivalent of 5 raffle tickets, or if you get the membership, if you get 5, you get 5 entries, so on and so forth. Real quick, Chitty says New York would eat McCarthy alive. Actually, the opposite. He just handled Dallas and Jerry Jones and won 12 games 3 straight years down there. So, no, actually, McCarthy would be able to handle New York because he's experienced and has dealt with Jerry Jones and that media market. He can handle the Jets. Sam writes in, 49-35, McCarthy's overrated. Let's bury this. I mean, can we put some context on the record? He was the head coach of the Cowboys for 5 seasons. In 3 of them, they won 12 games. In the 2 they didn't, they finished under 500. Dak Prescott missed most of the season. So let's add some context to that record, Sam. Don't tell me Mike McCarthy's overrated. I'm not telling you he's, a top 5, top 10 coach, but he's a solid NFL coach. He's proven that.
Yeah, I just say, like, not to be a dick, but like if you listen with your ears, you'd hear both of us just saying, wouldn't hate the interview, wouldn't be upset at them interviewing him. And frankly, of some of the other candidates would you rather have Mike McCarthy or Vance Joseph?
Mike McCarthy.
Would you rather have Mike McCarthy or Arthur Smith?
Mike McCarthy.
Would you rather have Mike McCarthy or I'm trying to think of some of the crazy names they've interviewed.
Mike Loxley.
Mike Loxley. I'd rather have Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy or Jeff Ulbrich. Mike McCarthy. Like, my whole point is, like, if you just look at it, he is a lot better than some of the other people they've spoken to. He is not on my he's not the top of my list. I'm not advocating for them to hire him. I don't think they even will interview him, like I said 12 times, but I do think there's some, like, I would not be upset if they interviewed him. That's all. I think it'd be a worthwhile interview.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Play that. What I meant to do, silly me, was play this.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Shadow Realm. Shout out to you, Shadow Realm. In for 5. Gary K, AZ and Mike, Josh Hardigan, Austin Bass, and Oliver in on our next Asmaniac raffle. Get your questions in for Will. Last chance to get your super chats ready. If you have any questions involving the Jets search for coach, GM, quarterback, anything about the draft, the roster, Will is as plugged into this Jets team as anyone and always offers good insight. Dante with a super chat. I'm sorry if I missed this, but do you think you'd want to come to New York, one big market to another, one big media apparatus to another? Yeah, he's asking about McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy will go somewhere that gives him a chance to be a head coach because there's no guarantee that there's a job out there for him. So if hypothetically, Dante, the Jets offered him the job, I do believe he would take it over, say, the Saints or what's the other job connected to McCarthy? The Bears. The Bears is interesting because he knows that division and he has Caleb. But I do think if the Jets offered him the job, I think he'd take it. Will, your thoughts?
I do too. Rich said on the pod that he believes McCarthy would have been interested in the job and was intrigued at the idea of him and Rodgers in New York. So again, I don't know what it would look like without Rodgers if he'd still be interested, but at least with Rodgers, he was certainly interested. So I think he would take an interview. I'd be really shocked. I don't think he's in a position to say no, to be honest.
Curly checks in. I know I'm negative, but all I want this team is to succeed. It's hard to believe Woody will hire the right people. Thank you for the daily Jets therapy. Thank you for watching, Curly, even though you are negative, but it's understandable. The Jets have given you garbage for far too long. I mean, that's really the thing, Will, and that's why I think so many fans are on board or were on board with give Vrabel whatever he wants or talk to Gruden, talk to Carroll, talk to McCarthy. We just don't want to go into another couple years where you have a head coach learning on the job who might be awesome, but also could be Robert Saleh or Todd Bowles in his first go around as a head coach or Gase, of course. You know what I mean? It's just, you just want to know that, hey, at least we know we have a competent, good NFL coach. And I think that's why fans are so scared, because rightfully they don't have any faith in the ownership to hire the right people because they haven't done it in forever.
Yeah. Look, Woody has done a good job of hiring at times, and he's done a horrible job of hiring at times. Now, if you believe Woody in a lot of ways, he didn't hire the last 2 guys, didn't hire the last 2 head coaches, and didn't hire the last GM. So if you want to give him a pass there, which people will not, and I am not saying to give him one, I'm just saying if you want to give him a pass there, he really got 1 hire wrong at head coach and 2 wrong at general manager. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but he did get head coach and GM right for a long time between Mike T, obviously Rex, Herm, Mangini, was on a good run there. He really was when he was first, when he first bought the team and wasn't the owner. Obviously Parcells laid the foundation, but, a lot of his guys being in the building, but they did a good job. And then obviously Idzik was a terrible hire. Bowles and McCagnon were not great and I don't think they actually were terrible because, again, we've seen worse, but if it's whatever, my point being he's been on a bad run. You hope maybe he could hit, even dead clocks right twice a day. So let's hope it lands on that.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, David Atkins just became an official Asmaniac on YouTube. David, you gifted a membership. You became a member. That's 2 raffle entries for our next one. Dante with a super chat here for Will. Again, I'm sorry if this was covered, but when it comes to the draft, are we okay with the Jets skipping out on drafting a quarterback this year, or is it something we definitely want them to do? My thoughts, Will, have been I don't love it at 7. I don't think there's anyone worthy of a top 7 pick this year. However, if they traded back end of round 1 or did something on day 2, I would understand it as long as the GM making that decision is truly on board with that move. They're not just forcing it because Woody wants a young quarterback on the team, for example.
Yeah, this is not the draft to take a guy. I wouldn't take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders in the top 10 if I was a GM. Now, it's easier said than done because the Giants and the Titans and some of the Browns and, the Raiders and teams like that who have no choice, right? They're going to have to, especially the Giants and the Titans and things like that. That said, I think there's some guys on day 2, late day 2, early day 3, McCord, Jackson Dart, Riley Leonard. I would have said Carson Beck. Some of those guys, I certainly think are worth a dart throw. Like I said, 3rd, 4th round, whatever it may be. Maybe they'll go higher, maybe they'll go lower. I don't know. We haven't, draft process hasn't really started yet. So, when I'm down in Mobile, we'll see. Then, Indy and things like that. But point being, like, you keep drafting a guy each year until you hit on one, whether it's a long-term backup, it's a long-term starter, whatever it is. I've said it 1,200 times, and it's no disrespect to Jordan Travis. I would operate as if Jordan Travis is not on the roster. I would operate as if Aaron Rodgers is not on the roster, and think to yourself, we probably have to sign one, draft one in terms of quarterback to go along with Tyrod Taylor. And hey, maybe the potential of Jackson Dart works for you, and he ends up kind of getting some of the, you eliminate some of the bad stuff for, hey, you get Riley Leonard, who has all these different traits and is like high character, lunatic, like running the football. And like, if you can put him in an offense where he doesn't have to think a ton, is he able to put some stuff together and be a guy for you? So I would take a guy in this draft for sure. This is not, to me, the year. If they'd finished 3 and they was like, hey, trade up one spot, maybe that's a conversation for Cam or something like that. But yeah, Jalen Milroe, like at 7, if he's going to go in like the 3rd or 4th round, there's one Jets account that I see all the time, like Jalen Milroe, Brian Flores, no matter what. It's like, okay. I just would say Jalen Milroe probably should have gone back to school, but it is what it is. And yeah, he's a fun dart throw on day 3. But other than that, I think you're hoping amongst hope.
Tom Ace writes in, Will Pod, turn the heat on.
The heat's on. I like to wear a beanie, man. I work out in a beanie. I was doing some work before, so outside. So I work out in a beanie every day, man. That's just my thing.
You're a beanie guy. I got to send you a Jake Asman Show beanie then.
Beanie, hoodie, the whole thing. That's just what we do around here.
Love that. The Meadowlands Swamp Thing. Last chance to get a super chat in for Will. I think AG has the hold guys accountable vibes, which is usually a place where new coaches struggle. Plus, as a former player, he will get respect. So I want to make it clear, just because, Robert Saleh didn't work out or Todd Bowles with the Jets didn't work out, like that doesn't mean that Aaron Glenn won't work out. My point is simply, I just get nervous when we're going to hire a first-time coach that has that background. Again, I'm not saying Aaron Glenn can't be his own man and do a good job. He might. And in fact, if they hire him, I will root like hell for his success because I'm a Jet fan. But my point is, if we're going to take the swing on a first-timer, I'd much rather do it with a guy on the offensive side of the ball. The problem is the Jets haven't requested a lot of those guys. Right now, it's just Joe Brady. They haven't requested Todd Monken. They haven't requested Liam Cohen. I would like to see more offensive-minded candidates if they're going to go the first-time route. I'm not saying you can't end up with AG if he's the best guy, but I've been a little disappointed with the lack of requests with certain guys on the offensive side of the football.
I don't disagree. I really don't disagree. I think there's some back channeling, though, for like a Ben Johnson, Cliff Kingsbury, et cetera. There's some guys that I'll interview this week that are offensive-minded, but, Brady and Arthur Smith and stuff like that if they take the interviews. But yeah, I would say, yeah, I don't know. I don't, Jake, I would guess I'd put it this way. I feel like at this point, I would narrow it down to Borgonzi, Greenberg, Hallaby, and then Grigson for some reason.
Where's Dimitrov? How is he not getting more consideration?
I think Dimitrov's got a shot. I think he's more likely a guy that gets, if they do that president of football operations, they do vice president of player personnel, vice president of football analytics, whatever it may be. I think you could see maybe something like that for him. Him and Nagy felt like more guys that would come in potentially as like, hey, I can help with a lot of like the surrounding stuff. And then head coach, I feels like Flores and Glenn are the two guys. If they miss out on those, sure, then it opens you up to McCown and Nagy and these other names and Brady and stuff like that. I just my gut tells me it's like we're getting like Borgonzi and one of Glenn and Flores, or we're getting, Mike Greenberg and I don't know, Brian Flores, and they bring in, someone from the Buck staff and, for personnel. Like, I mean, like that's kind of what.
Where's Liam Cohen if we're going to talk to Mike Greenberg? I don't get it.
So I guess theoretically they could hire Greenberg and then interview Cohen. Maybe we get an interview request earlier this week that maybe Cohen's more interested in it. I guess the one caveat would be if he knows, hey, I'm the heir in Tampa. Like if anything happens with Bowles, it's my job. And maybe he views it as like, hey, I'm comfortable here. I have a good relationship with Baker. This feels like I'm in alignment with the front office. I don't want to risk it. I've been saying I thought he was going to get the Jags job the way it's kind of structured. But again, if you're him, like if he maybe either knows there's a shot he could get the job this year or, hey, in one more year, Todd's going to walk away. He's been around the game for a long time. He wants to get one more shot at it. But I don't know. I would love for them to interview Cohen. But right now they haven't. I'm a little shocked too. He's a UMass guy, and usually my tea with UMass guys is pretty big. So
maybe he told him he wouldn't take the job. Yeah, I think
maybe,
you're right.
Maybe they, he was just like, yeah, I'm good. And look, not having a quarterback does hurt the Jets in this situation. Like that's to me. You could give me the ownership stuff all you want. There's a lot of bad. Look at every job that's open. All the owners suck. Mark Davis is fun on. He's really good with models, but he owes like 800 coaches and fires guys left and right. We know Jerry Shad Khan's probably one of the only owners worse than Woody. So there's a lot there in terms of like the ownership stuff, and I get that. I think a lot of people think Trevor Lawrence is good, so that's why the Jags, or hey, the Bears have Caleb Williams and he's only going into year 2. That's why. Or the Saints, that's why it's probably more on par with the Jets. Drake May, obviously, up in New England. So I don't know if you remember, Jake. I think the Patriots job was very similar to the Jets job 3 years ago or 4 years ago in 2021 when they hired Saleh. Drake May was good and Zach Wilson was terrible, but like very similar jobs. I think the Jets, I don't know. Yeah, they had to have found out from an agent or the guy themselves, hey, we're not gonna publicly request you because we don't want you to say no.
By the way, I'm willing to bet, no one's told me this, that the Jets were the team that inquired about Mike Tomlin.
You think so?
I think it was the Jets. I think that's a Tannenbaum special right there.
So here's a couple updates. Titans are bringing back several candidates for second rounds of their vacant GM job. Mike Borgonzi, John Spytek, Ian Cunningham, and Ed Dodds, and Terrence Gray. Jets better hurry up here. Them losing out on Borgonzi, I don't think he'd take the Titans job. Personally, I think that's a terrible job. But like, listen, end of the day, if you don't, you wait around too long. I think the Jets will hire somebody this week, but they better hurry up. Getting beat out for a job that's basically a virtual number 2 job would be a disaster.
Gotcha. Let's see. Super chat here. $20 special from Dan Hops. Boom. Mike Bravel is a giant douche now. Well, I will not be rooting for him, sadly. Put me down for that Garrett or that G5 helmet. I got you down, Dan. Thanks for everything you've done this season, Jake. LFG Jets. Let's get it right this time. No surprise with Vrabel, sadly. No surprise with Vrabel. Will does a podcast with Mike Giardi, who's very plugged in to the Patriots, so no surprise there. Vrabel, good dude. Unfortunately, I will now be rooting against him going forward. John with a super chat. Could a Flores-Dimitrov match be a possibility with McCown as the OC? I've connected the dots here, Will, because Dimitrov and Flores were both in New England at the same time. So they wanted the experience route, experienced GM, experienced head coach, up-and-coming offensive mind to be the OC. I'd love this. It just doesn't sound like Dimitrov has the buzz right now based on what you're saying.
Yeah, I think his buzz might be as a number 2 or like a veteran guy to come in above, maybe a guy who's maybe inexperienced. He did a good job. Didn't end amazing, obviously, in Atlanta. It never does. That's why all these guys, were fired. But, yeah, Rich made it seem like there's a better chance McCown would make a leap than, like, just be an OC because of how the situation is in Minnesota. Like, he's in a perfect spot. McCown will be one of the interesting ones. He is the ultimate wild card. He has every bit of an opportunity to walk in a room and wow everybody. That's just who he is. He is. I met him once, and it's very very eccentric, like in a good way. Like he is just like he owns the room, like so well liked. So yeah, he's certainly a wild card. McCann would be one that I'd be really interested to see, how he would interview. He's probably, if he gets an in-person interview, if Minnesota loses tonight or whatever, be very intrigued if he can, he can dominate it, and be like, hey, I know probably not ready, but X, Y, and Z.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments and questions for Will Parkinson. Last chance to get it read as we'll say goodbye to Will and then do our raffle, which, by the way, Steven Alvarez is in for 5 memberships for the G5 signed helmet, which we will do at some time, maybe next week. We'll see. We got 300 something in for the full-size helmet today, and memberships are flying off the shelves for the G5 signed helmet for next week. Boom. James St. Patrick, Eric Kelly, Jason Gilbert, Ben Callis, and T. Jets all just received channel memberships. All right, this one is from Fiore, who writes in, if the Jets don't interview McCarthy, it stinks of arrogance. Who are we to pass on a 600 winning percentage coach? Just embarrassing. And I also saw like a tweet from Connor Hughes saying, back in 2019, the Jets did a lot of work on McCarthy and they didn't come away that impressed. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I don't really care what work they did on Mike McCarthy back in 2019 because the guys who did any work on Mike McCarthy all have been fired. That's 2 regimes ago. And they ended up hiring Adam Gase. So please, if you did work on McCarthy and you didn't like it, do the opposite this time around and at least give the guy an interview and seriously consider it when he dealt with a meddling owner, a toxic media environment, and was the head coach of the Cowboys, and for 3 years in a row won 12 games or more. And the only times he finished under 500 in his 5 years there, his franchise quarterback missed most of the season. So I'm not telling you the guy's Vince Lombardi, but you could do a lot worse than Mike McCarthy if we're going to interview Arthur Smith, if we're going to interview Matt Nagy, if we're going to interview Mike Loxley, if we're going to interview Ron Rivera. Stop. They need to interview Mike McCarthy and at least consider it. If they don't, it's foolish. It is. I agree with the super chat here, Will. I'm fired up now thinking about it.
No, I honestly have nothing more to add. That was well said. That was good. That was good. You should do radio for a living.
Mr. writes in, if you go with an offensive mind, be sure they're successful in cold climates. Interesting comment here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't disagree with the premise of that. I know it sounds so stupid, but make sure whoever you hire as a human being is ready for New York. And I really truly think the Jets have not gotten a ready for New York hire at head coach since Rex. Like, Bowles is not a New York guy. Like, this job is a lot. And it's not because it's the Jets, it's New York, it's Giants too. Like, it's handling someone with a personality for New York is a big thing. And Bowles certainly didn't have it. Gase was the anti-New York guy. Saleh was a bit of a chameleon. I don't think he was ready for New York either. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's why, to me, I keep saying this, and I'm not just saying Glenn is the right fit because it's like, oh, because he's connected to the Jets, now we're going to change our mind. Aaron Glenn played here for a long time. He was a scout here. Like, he talks to Bill Parcells weekly. Like, it gives me hope that he would have the right mindset coming into New York. He's a guy who's, played in some of these different situations, been in, helped turn our Lions around, who, as we know, obviously went far worse than the Jets, right? So, yeah, personality-wise and the person, can they handle the media? Yeah, that's one aspect. Can you handle the fan base? Can you handle the day-to-day pressure of the buzz of New York City, especially during football season? And, like, can you stomach turning on WFAN or ESPN radio or wherever else, the Jake Asman show or whatever, and fans lighting you up on stuff? Can you handle that? And yeah, it's about the market in terms of like the actual team, right? And winning games, all that stuff. But like, this other stuff matters. It weighs people down if you can't handle it. So you better get that. You better get that right. Flores is from New York. Glenn played here for a long time. Josh McCown's played here. Joe Brady's coached in pressure cookers up in Buffalo and LSU and et cetera. Like, that's the guy I'm looking for more than a Mike McDaniel who's like Mr. Hollywood or that type of guy is just never going to be successful here.
Dante with a super chat. I understand searching for head coaches right now, but shouldn't we let the GM decide who the head coach should be once we hire that person? Well, I think what the plan is likely going to be, Will, hire a GM maybe as early as this week. I'm sure they'll start second round of GM interviews potentially because they're compliant now with the Rooney Rule. You can't talk to any of these coaches in person until 1 week from today. So now that Vrabel's gone, I feel like he would have been the only coach you'd hire first and let him pick the GM he'd want to work with, which would have been Ryan Cowden, by the way, who leaves the Giants to go to New England, as everyone said. So I feel like at this point, I would fully expect a GM to be hired first, and then that GM will definitely have a voice in the head coach search. Am I reading it wrong?
No, I think that's why people like these guys go in. Like, I can guarantee you in Aaron Glenn's interview, they said, or I don't know, let's use a better example. In Mike Borgonzi's interview, they probably said a lot of the questions were, what would you do with Rodgers? What's your plan at quarterback? How do you see this roster? What do you need to compete? What's your offensive philosophy? What's your philosophy developing a quarterback? Who would you hire as a head coach? Who would be your recommendations as a coach? How would you help him build that staff? Those are the questions I'm sure being asked in these interviews. So I think they probably have a good idea of, hey, if they interviewed Ryan Grigson, who's feverishly attaching himself to Brian Flores. Or, hey, did Mike Greenberg say, hey, I have a relationship with Liam Cohen, or, hey, I'm really interested in this guy, or I'm really interested in this guy, or these guys I would recommend along with Woody in order to hire. Like, that's a lot of these conversations in these interviews. So GM will get hired first. Vrabel was the one that would have been different because he was not employed. I guess McCarthy theoretically could be different if they went that route, but it seems like they won't. So it'll be GM probably this week is my guess. And then probably the following week, depending on what happens in next weekend's games.
Well, appreciate you hopping on as always. And maybe this time next week, we're talking about a new GM potentially. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope we are. And yeah. I hope we are because, man.
And I hope it's not Ryan Grigson because any guy that could get a generational quarterback to retire at 29 is probably not a great idea for the Jets.
Grigson, I will tell you, I texted 4 people in front offices around the league. I didn't hear a single thing that made me not want to rip my hair out. So I would be enthused. I don't think it was not my number one going into the offseason, but Flores, McCown as a combo, you feel pretty good. You'd be like, we should be really competitive next year. And going forward, hey, McCown's a great offensive coach. We think he's going to be a really good offensive coach. We know Flores can coach defense. He'll fix the defense. They'll return to be a top 5 unit offense. You hope can you go from 24th to 17th, fix special teams in 9-10 wins next year. And you're like, hey, we feel good about the future of where we're going. But with Grigson, you'd be like, oh, okay. Like, this dude traded a first round pick for Trent Richardson, man. So it's all I could. I would just say this last thing. We always talk about coaches' records, GM's records, etc. And, there's usually not context. Ryan Grigson's record was really good with the Colts. Really impressive in a 4-year stretch, playoffs 3 times. I think 2 11-win seasons, executive of the year in 2012. Jake, this is not meant as a demeaning thing. Do you know what happened with the Colts in 2010 and 2009? Do you know where they were? Beating the Jets in 2009 and going to the Super Bowl in the year after. The Jets beat them after they had just won the division. Peyton Manning gets hurt, misses the whole year in 11. So they had the first overall pick. Me, you, rest in peace to my grandpa or my mom could have made the Andrew Luck pick without even knowing about the draft, right? So, yeah, stay away from Grigson. Borgonzi, Greenberg, Hallaby, Glenn, McCown, Flores. Some pairing of that. I think we're feeling pretty decent about where the Jets are headed in 25.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on, and I received a text message from a fellow by the name of Fireman Ed. Great interview with Will Pa. So shout out to Fireman Ed who's tuned in right now, and he's a big fan of Will Parkinson.
Fireman Ed, baby. Ooh.
Well, you're the best, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, man. Take care.
Will Pa, check out his podcast, Turn on the Jets. He's with Badlands as well. Always joins our show. Appreciate his insight. Tyler super chats us. Jets just finished their interview with Brick. Yeah, this is old Brick, by the way. Here's how the interview went. He walks in, says hello, and it's like that meme in The Simpsons. He turns around, and he leaves the room. That's it. Jeff Ulbrich. Now, maybe Ulbrich, I'm just spitballing here, maybe there is a coach that would want him on the staff in some capacity. Maybe. I don't know in what role, because I don't want him to be the DC. The defense sucked with him. Robert Saleh had a lot to do with the defense, as we've learned, which I said on the show that Saleh was way more involved with the defense than most people realize. Said it a lot. We saw that to be true. So, I don't know. And Ulbrich's a nice guy. I don't want to beat up on him. It wasn't his fault that he was put in that spot. But, I mean, the team sucked with him. Let's call it for what it is. They were 3-9. They were undisciplined. The defense got worse. He never got better. He's not going to be on the staff. I'd be shocked. Who's ready for a raffle, huh? Who's ready for a raffle? We got epic prizes, baby. A full-size Jet helmet. Are you kidding me? You better have a spot for it in the man cave. How about a Super Bowl III Joe Willie Namath replica ring? How about it? Look at that camera shot. Boom. Look at that focus. Why can't I do this all the time? How about that? Tremendous. And the third prize, an Aaron Rodgers jersey. How about that? Throwback, so you could pretend like we had Rodgers in 2010, 2011, 2013 when we could have used Aaron Rodgers. You know, all that. Anyway, it's time, folks. Here's how we're going to do it. I have in front of me a random name selector. It's called a wheel of names. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to have full transparency on this show. And you all will see the Wheel of Champions. It was a bucket, but to be honest with you, it would take me hours to put 333 raffle tickets in. So I have all the names here. You can only win once. I'm going to click on the wheel, spin this bad boy, and it's going to spin around and round and around. Everyone understand what the rules are? Everyone good? All right? If you gifted a membership, you are in this raffle. And then when you see someone win, I'm going to remove their name. So I should have asked Gator for like a drum roll, please drop. I don't have that, but I can sound the alarms. Here we go. The winner of the Jets full-sized helmet is Mimosa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mimosa has won every single raffle to this point. And now, in addition to the Curtis Martin signed trading card, a winner hat, there were some other items too. I can't keep track. We've done this now 11 times. Mimosa will receive a New York Jets full-sized helmet. Epic. Mimosa, shout out to you for being an awesome listener of this show. All right, folks. It's now time for another raffle spin. Who's ready? I know I am. And to make it fair, we're going to remove all of Mimosa's names in there. So we went from 231 down to 288, just like that, according to this, by removing Mimosa's names here. So it's fair game now. Prize number 2. Joe Willie Namath, Super Bowl III ring. Mimosa won that too, by the way. That was the other prize she's won. Here we go. Spin the wheel. The winner is Jeffrey R. Jeffrey, congratulations. Your ring is going to look beautiful on your finger. 56 years ago yesterday, Joe Willie Namath and the New York Jets were Super Bowl champions. Haven't been back since. But Jeffrey will have a replica ring, which means now that we got the 2 heavy hitters out of the way, we're down to 158 names that are in on this next raffle prize, which is the Aaron Rodgers jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to spin the wheel. Jets Johnny is the winner of the Aaron Rodgers jersey. Shout out to Jets Johnny. Great dude. Super talented. Congrats to him. He will be getting the Rodgers jersey. It's kind of funny, though. Jets Johnny, I'm pretty sure he's move on from Aaron Rodgers, and now he just won a Rodgers jersey. Go figure. Go figure. Johnny, if you don't want it, I'll gift it to someone else, and I'll send you an item from the merch store instead. But if you do want it, it's all yours. You wrote LFG, so I think you do want it, which is good. So even though you're anti-Rodgers, you did win it. So good for you. All right. We're going to do more winners right now. Next one, Gusbuster Umbrella. The #1 umbrella on the PGA Tour, the official umbrella of the next president of the United States, and many other notable figures. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gusbuster Umbrella. Let's spin it. $25. How about 25? 25, did you want a ring? That's right. All right, 25, you got the Gusbuster. Congrats to you. I'm going to remove all of 25's names from the entries. We're at 133. This next one, prize number 4, is an item of your choice from jakeasman.com/shop. Ladies and gentlemen, spin the wheel. John LG. That's awesome. Congrats, John. Those are the 4 winners. Shout out to everyone who won. If you won, contact me so I could get your info if I don't already have it. Once again, shout out to our winners. And immediately, I want everyone to know that our next raffle, when let's say we hit 300 memberships again at least, could be next week. Who knows? Could be later today. You never know how generous the Asmaniacs are. Will include an autograph helmet by Jetstar receiver Garrett Wilson. So we're going to start moving towards that. Great winners. Congrats to everyone. Thank you again to everyone who supports the show. Awesome to see this community continue to come together despite how dog crap the football team we all root for has been. Before we get to your calls, we're presented today by my guy, Joe DeVizio, sellwithjoe.com. If you're a Jet fan, you're probably really just down in the dumps, and maybe you have to sell your home as well. And that's stressful. That's going to add on to the stress in your life. Being a Jet fan is hard enough. Now you're trying to sell your home? Have Joe help you. Sellwithjoe.com. Him and his team are the best at what they do all over the tri-state area. Joe DeVizio will get you the top price anywhere in the tri-state, no matter what situation you're dealing with. If you're behind on payments, if your house needs repairs, if you're dealing with squatters or bad tenants, selling your home sucks. So let Joe DeVizio and his team do it for you. They could sell any property, anytime, whether it's an investment property, a condo, townhouse, beachfront, multifamily, commercial building. They do it all, and your wallet's going to thank you. Check out Joe's real estate website in my description box, or give his office a call right now at 959-CALL-JOE. That's 959-CALL-JOE, and get ready to cash out. All right, time to get into some of your calls. Let's see what you're thinking on the Gusbuster hotline. First up today is PBM. Hello, Mike.
Yo, what up?
Did you just wake up from a nap?
No, I'm laying down on the couch with the dog.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, so I want to address BWAC if he's on. You wanted me to call in, but I work during the day, so I can't call in. So I'm here now. Get your bitch ass up. Let's go.
Wow. So you're calling in to call BMAC out.
Yeah, this guy said that he'd guillotine me. He's never done a guillotine in his life.
I don't
Listen,
know.
bro.
I think
I've
he'd guillotine
won
you. I'm on BMAC's side on this one.
competitions, okay, bro?
I think he'd take you out pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sure you think so.
I think he'd do it in probably less than 10 seconds.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You're not going to get me, Jake. You're not. You're not going to. It's not happening. 0%.
Well, if BMAC calls in, I'll let you speak to them, okay?
Yep.
All right, thanks for the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to more of your calls right now. The Hamburger is on the line. Hello, Hamburger.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you, Jake?
How are you, Hamburger? What do you got for us?
Hanging in there. I want to talk about the Mike McCarthy. You think it's they're not going to interview him solely because of the reason that he would bring back Aaron? Probably without a doubt. You think that's the reason why they might not give him an interview?
I just
Because in
don't
my
think,
eyes,
I don't think they
go
want
ahead.
him. I don't think they want him.
No, I don't see why they wouldn't want him. I mean, he should get at least an interview. He's one of the top coaches that'll be available for this offseason. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I don't think they should hire. I don't know if they should hire him or not. I'm on the fence about him, but I think he should at least get an interview. It makes sense to me.
I agree. I don't know why they wouldn't interview him other than, oh, well, we have this process and we don't want to hire a head coach for the third time around. But that to me is nonsense. Like, the guy's a good football coach. He's better than some of the candidates you're talking about giving a second opportunity to. Like, would I rather give Mike McCarthy a third opportunity or Arthur Smith or Matt Nagy a second opportunity or Steve Spagnuolo a second opportunity? No, I want to give Mike McCarthy that opportunity over those guys.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I'm very confused on the coaching interviews and some of the guys that are left off. I don't know if there's reasons that they've already said that they don't want to interview or what and whatnot, but I know we're kind of limited to two guys right now that I don't know, man. I'd really like to interview McCarthy. I think personally, I think it'd be a good shot to get Aaron back too. And I'm still on the fence about him, but still, it makes sense. It makes sense for him to come here. He's a winning coach. He does great in the during the season. He's got a great record. He's like 43 and 30 something like that, close to around there. I don't understand what we're doing. So I don't know, man. I hope we pick our GM by the end of this week and we start moving because it's getting tiresome listening to all the BS right now. I just want to get it over with and I want to move on to the off season and put our heads where they need to be and focus on next year and on our draft picks and shit like that. So I'm glad. I don't think Ulbrich has any shot in all hell to get the job. That was kind of just a give me to have him in there today and an interview. If they hire him back, I probably won't watch next year. I couldn't. I don't think I could deal with that. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping they put out the call to him and at least get him in here sometime this week and interview him. I mean, it is still new. He just got released today from the Cowboys, so maybe there's a chance that they interview him. Who knows? But
we got most of that from Hamburger. Internet a little choppy, but I agree with him. Look, I hope they do interview him. I don't see the reason why they wouldn't interview him. But, I saw this tweet from Connor Hughes, and it really annoyed me. And I'm not mad at Connor. I think Connor does a really good job covering the Jets for SNY. He's been on the show several times. But, I saw a tweet. I'm trying to find it here. Someone tweeted Connor Hughes 4 hours ago, will the Jets be interested in McCarthy? And he tweeted, based off the information gathered when he was available the year they hired Gase, I'd be surprised if hired. Jets did a ton of research on him and didn't love what turned up. Granted, that was years ago. We'll have to dig to see if things have changed. I mean, I would say this. I don't give a flying what they dug up on Mike McCarthy in 2019 when these morons hired Adam Gase. So don't give me what they dug up in 2019. They hired the worst coach I've ever watched. Any full-time coach, because Ulbrich would give Gase a run for his money. Oh, my God. I don't want to hear about what they did in 2019 when it led to one of the biggest failures in the history of professional sports. So interview Mike McCarthy. I'm not saying you got to hire him. You want to hire Aaron Glenn? Fine. I will live with it. I will give him a chance. But I prefer Mike McCarthy over some of the other has-beens we're talking about. Ron Rivera, Arthur Smith, Matt Nagy. No, thank you. Give me the guy that dealt with Jerry Jones, the Cowboys media, the pressure, the spotlight, the amount of nationally televised games you get no matter what just because you have the star on the helmet. Give me that guy. I'll take my chance over a retread. Mike McCarthy's not really a retread. He's a solid coach. All right, I'm not interested in the information the Jets gathered in 2019. Who was gathering the information? Mike McCagnon? Gone. Rex Hogan? Gone. I'm trying to even remember who was here in 2019. They have a different team. Neil Glatt was the president then. He's gone. He's not with the team anymore. So interview McCarthy. You haven't interviewed Gruden. You haven't interviewed Carroll. There's another head coach out there with a ring on his finger. Interview him. Interview him. We're going to interview Mike Loxley, though, the coach who was 4-8 at Maryland. And before that, in his first coaching stint, he was 2-26 at New Mexico State. Pretty sure. Didn't he get fired because he threw something at a staffer? I mean, I didn't even really want to look into that story because I was disgusted when I saw his name on the interview list. Talk to Mike McCarthy. I'm not going to kill the Jets yet because he just got fired today. But you got to interview him. You have to interview the guy. God. Bo is in for 5 channel memberships. This will calm me down.
Money, 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 money.
5 memberships from Bo. Ladies and gentlemen, Alyssa Asman's now a channel member. That's my mom. Congrats, Mom. Scarlet Rogue, John Prado, GB Jr., Lou E. all just received channel memberships. Congrats to all. Those are going towards the Garrett Wilson signed helmet, which I will be sending to our winner. For those who just tuned in late, we just had 5 winners for our most recent raffle, our 11th in a month and a half. Full-size helmet is now off the board officially. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is someone this chat knows well. You never know what he might say. Now, notice I described who I'm bringing on very vaguely because I feel like that description would work for a lot of my callers. But if you guessed Gary, you're a winner.
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
All right. I'm not against Mike McCarthy. If Mike McCarthy was our next head coach, it wouldn't be my first pick, but he'd probably be in the top 5. I'm okay with this under one circumstance. He wins. If he goes here and he sucks, I'm never going to hear the end of it from the idiot Cowboy fans, and I hate them. I hate Cowboy fans. So if he comes here under one circumstance. We make the playoffs most of the seasons that he's here, and he wins a couple playoff games. Deal? If we do that, then I'm okay with hiring. If he comes here and he sucks, I'm never going to hear the end of it, and I can't live that way.
Here, I could sell you on Mike McCarthy with a couple short sentences. He believes the moon landing was fake. Your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. Just statistically, there's a lot of people who think that. So no, I'm not shocked. Is that true?
No.
Steph Curry and Draymond Green.
I've never asked him. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you interview him, if he gets the job, or if he's in New York interviewing him, ask him. It's a question. Here's what I learned from that question. If you ask someone that question, they're either going to say, is the moon landing real? They're going to say yes, or they're going to have a half-hour explanation. No one really likes to give you a direct no. Like it's like they're shunned from society or something. No, I think that's fake. I think that's totally fake. So I guess Kyrie Irving would have to think the moon landing is fake too, right? If he's a flat earther, I mean, it would have to be, right? Like
Brian says the moon is made of butter.
It would be a hell of a moon if it was. Yeah. So I don't understand why everyone is so strongly opposed to McCarthy. Not everyone, but those who are. What? Because of this year, his quarterback was hurt. Like, why is he a terrible choice? That's what I don't understand. Maybe he's not your first choice. He's not really my first choice either. But why is he a bad choice? That's what I'm not understanding.
I just worry about them hiring Nagy or Arthur Smith. So I'm almost like, just get me McCarthy, who I at least know at the bare minimum has dealt with a meddling owner, hostile environment to coach in. He can handle the Jets. If you could be the Cowboys coach and win 12 games 3 straight years, you're a good coach. He's won a Super Bowl. I'm not telling you he's the greatest of coaches, but he's a good coach. He's hired a good coaching staff before. I'll take him over some of the other jabronis that they've talked to so far.
For sure. My couple of concerns is he got fired, though, in 2018 towards the end of the season, but during the season, correct? He didn't make it through that season?
Yeah, he only coached – he was 4-7-1, so he coached 12 games.
12 games. That tells me that Rodgers at least approved that, no? Or no, you don't think so? Like, they would run it by Rodgers if they were going to fire their coach mid-season, don't you think?
They were going to run it by Rodgers if he was their coach.
Right. If they were going to fire their head coach mid-season.
See, I don't think
they would
so,
run that by.
Remember,
no?
that was part of Rodgers' gripe with the end of his Packers tenure, right? That he had no say. They didn't ask for his input on hiring the floor.
Right.
They made a bunch of personnel moves and didn't even give him allow him to even give a suggestion. They didn't even tell him they were drafting Jordan Love. That's what pissed him off. Not that they did it, so they didn't tell him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. That's right. So they probably blindsided him with that. Is that relationship good? Because at first when I heard that, I was like, well, that means that Rodgers is gone, right?
Yeah. No. I think the relationship is good. Rodgers has only said nice things about him publicly. McCarthy agreed to participate in the Netflix doc and said great things about Rodgers. So, yeah.
So, okay, that actually flips it then. So if they hired McCarthy, they'd probably bring Rodgers back for a year, or you think the two things are unrelated? Like it would be McCarthy's.
I think Rodgers is back if they were to hire McCarthy. I do. Now, but I'm not hiring McCarthy because I want Rodgers back. I'm hiring McCarthy because I want him over Arthur Smith or Matt Nagy.
No, and McCarthy will be there. Hopefully, McCarthy is there long after Rodgers is gone, right? So,
well, because you're going to draft a quarterback, and I trust Mike McCarthy to at least have a better chance of developing that guy than some of the other coaches the Jets have spoken to or have had in the past. Like Robert Saleh was not the right coach for Zach Wilson. Adam Gase was not the right coach for Sam Darnold. Neither was Adam Gase. Like you got to eventually they're going to draft a quarterback. So I feel better about McCarthy doing it than someone else.
And where would you put McCarthy on your list? Is he top 5 or is he out of the top 5?
Flores.
Take Vrabel off the list now. Vrabel's
gone. Flores won. I don't know. I really would have to think about it. I got to do a little more work into McCarthy.
Would you put him ahead of Rex or after Rex on your list?
I'd put him ahead of Rex.
Okay, good. We actually agree on coaches more than we agree on many other things. Most other things, I would say.
Like salads and cigarettes.
I don't think we disagree on cigarettes. I think we disagree on salads for sure. I don't think we disagree on cigarettes. Yeah.
Well, we disagree that eating one salad a day is healthier than smoking one cigarette a day. You refuse to answer that question.
I wouldn't. I would advise against both of those things strongly.
Right, but what's more damaging for your body, though, is the question. Because I'd argue a salad is definitely not more damaging than smoking one cigarette per day, Gary.
If you're putting dressing, it's going to have a bunch of preservatives on it. Like, smoking is really bad for you, right? Like, there's some good things for nicotine. It's a really – I don't know an answer to that question. I would just strongly advise no human being does either one of those two things. That's what I would suggest. That would be a strong suggestion. I would say don't do either one of those two things. Don't eat a salad and don't smoke a cigarette. That's the best that I can answer that question without giving it a further analysis of exactly how many toxins and how many carcinogens are in the salad compared to the cigarette. It would take an in-depth study to give you a fair answer on that question. What was that?
Oh my God, I love you, Gary. I really do, man. The fact that you're comparing cigarettes to eating a salad and the carcinogens, I love you to death, brother. But it makes me laugh. I'm sitting in my car laughing my ass right now, and my son's sitting next to me going, "What?"
Yeah. A year and a half ago, my wife was starting to plan for life without me because it looked like my time was very, very short. And now my health is better than ever. And I've done that mostly through nutrition. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about.
I know, but I can promise you salads weren't killing you, Gary.
Okay. I can promise you you're wrong, right? Like just like Dr. J. Okay. Just like Dr. J said, like the bottle of scotch isn't going to kill you in one night. The cigarette's not going to kill you in one night. But over time, if you do it every day, yes, it's going to kill you.
Like salads will kill you over time.
Over time. Just like any other toxin and carcinogen.
To be honest, I've listened to a lot of different, health things, and I have never heard this explanation in my life on anything that I've ever heard on dietary or bad foods or anything. That salad is that bad for you
I've posted it in the Discord 100 times. So it was
plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter.
I just saw a hamburger just dying on hold, just laughing, and I'm like, let me put them on. Let everyone see what I'm seeing. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. If you missed the raffle earlier, it happened. I know a lot of people were asking about it. I posted the details in the Discord. Congrats to our winners again. Next raffle, maybe next week, whenever we get 300 entries. Garrett Wilson, autograph helmet. Boom. A lot of people want the Beast Breaker on the line. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing comments saying, unleash the Beast. Where's Beast? And it's amazing because every time I bring him on, people say, get him off. And then when he's not on, I need to put him on. So you all put me in a very tough spot. This is the most polarizing Asmaniac I've ever encountered. So I don't know what to do. I'm torn. I won't lie. I'm very torn. But I'm going to go in order of who's called in. So Beast is in line. We will get to him. But first we go down under. And we say hello to Craig in Australia. Hello, Craig.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Good day, Craig. I got my boomerang right here, ready to roll.
Now, we have to work on this good day thing. All right, this is no good.
Good day. Good day.
No, it's g'day. Like that. You got it.
So it's quick.
It's like g'day. And if you really want to speak Australian and you walk up to someone, you say, g'day, mate, how you going?
G'day, mate, how you going?
That's actually one word, by the way.
G'day, mate, how you going?
G'day, mate, how you going? That's it. You just got to leave out all the consonants. That's basically all. It's almost all vowels.
I like this. All right, I'm learning a lot.
Now, I think we have a serious issue here because with the dispute between Gary and pretty much everyone on the diet thing, the problem is that Bobby's lost over 20 pounds on the Gary diet. I'm a man of science.
Mm-hmm.
Science is about what works. The diet's working. So I think I'm going to have to put it out to the people for the reaction.
Well, here would be my thoughts on that, Craig. Bobby's losing weight, which is true, because most of what Gary is saying, right, the proteins and removing carbs and not drinking soda, that's all good. I think the issue people have with Gary's takes is that he insists on eating a stick of butter somehow being healthy, and that Bobby should continue to just eat butter sticks often.
I don't actually think a stick of butter is inherently unhealthy, believe it or not. I actually don't. What I do think is it's disgusting. Like the taste, like I'm going to sit down and watch telly, right? And instead of a packet of chips, I'm going to munch on a stick of butter. I don't think that does it with me. But having said that, I love Gary, and this just came.
A Texas flag. Wow.
And because Gary's got the Texas flag.
Look at this
my
guy.
brother.
I love it. I'm happy. I'm like a proud papa. Like I want to hug you right now, Craig. Can you give me a howdy, y'all? You say howdy, y'all. There you go.
And then you've got to give me a g'day, mate. How you going?
G'day, mate. Is that good? That sounds more g'day, mate. Is that all right?
G'day, mate.
Bad?
It's not bad.
G'day, mate.
It's not bad. I think there's hope for you, and we've got our first Asmaniac coming here in February. We have the big gatho, as my daughter calls it, on February the 22nd, and everyone's invited. So anyone from Asmania that wants to make the 60-hour round trip and come to the gatho, because we're going to be at the gate, Jake, when a hawk lands, when the eagle lands. We're going to be at the gate. I'm going to get as many people as I can. We're going to video the first meeting, if you know what I mean.
I love this.
It's all going to happen. So, but I'm a bit concerned about the coach search. I don't know any of these people because I have no background, in this game. But all I hear is concern from Asmania, and I think Asmania get it right a lot of the time. So I don't know if we might lose this off season. That never happens. We always win the off season.
Which maybe it will be reverse. We'll hate the hire, and then it will be like the reverse of what normally happens. But I tried to sell myself that on Gase, and it ended up being exactly what everyone felt it would be, an unmitigated disaster. So I don't know. I mean, there's still good candidates out there they've spoken to. My fear is they're going to hire like an Arthur Smith or someone like that, and then bypass some of these other coaches who are available, who have way better resumes that want to coach, and they're just not going to do it.
Well, I'm playing catch up right now. Every time I hear these names, I've got to go on Wikipedia and understand who the hell they are and what their background is. And I have one serious question. What is to stop, and this is probably showing my ignorance, what exactly is to stop Jeff Ulbrich going back to be DC, given he's such a good DC? Is it just because it's just not something you can do after something like this?
It's a good question. Typically, yeah, good question, Craig. Typically, when you hire a new head coach, they want to hire their own coaching staff because they're going to run different schemes, and maybe Ulbrich doesn't run the scheme that the next coach would run. However, It does happen, though, because when Rex Ryan was the Jet coach, he left Brian Schottenheimer on as his offensive coordinator. He left Mike Westhoff on as his special teams coordinator. So Rex only replaced the defensive staff. He left a lot of the old Mangini coaches in place because they were really good coaches. Like the Jets had one of the best O-line coaches ever in Bill Callahan. Like he left a lot of those guys in place. So that's why like they're interviewing Ulbrich today. We laugh. He has no chance of being the head coach. But I guess there is a scenario where maybe the next head coach would be interested in keeping Ulbrich in a different role. I guess that is possible.
I just thinking on the basis that he was clearly a good DC, and as soon as he went to HC, that happened. Maybe it's a coincidence, probably not. But anyway, we'll see. Look, I'm going into next season with no expectations. This is my plan. Anything that is good is a bonus. Now, when Mrs. Craig and I have been stateside, we are 3-2. So I think the true answer is we have to get to the USA as much as possible from September. That's the answer.
How about London? Another London game, Craig. Is London easier to get to than America?
I've got so many overseas trips. I've got Madrid, Czech Republic. I might be going to Fiji for some like work charity type thing in August. Got Vegas. I'm hiring a Cybertruck in LA to drive to Vegas because it's about the most American thing I can think of to do. Hey, Gary, I've ordered my frame for my flag. It comes in a week and a half, and it's going to be right up there where you can see it. So every time.
I'm stoked beyond belief. Like you have no idea.
You're right up there.
The great Republic of Texas. You have no idea how happy you made me, Craig.
What about your real country, Gary? Texas is not a country. You live in America.
I disagree, Jake. We'll agree to disagree on that as well.
I lived in Texas for 6 years.
Texas.
I'm still an American.
Of Texas.
You're out of your mind.
Oh, and one thing, Craig. Butter contains a short chain fatty acid called butyric, which is absorbed directly is synthesized directly, and it improves the fat storage hormone. That's why it burns fat, right? That's why eating butter actually burns fat. It's not like any other dairy product. It contains butyric acid, which triggers the fat storing hormone. Craig, you're muted.
So storing fat is related to burning fat? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it triggers hypoglycemia, right? Which is the fat.
I just don't have it in me. I can't deal with Gary and his butter. Craig, I love you. Can't wait for you to be back. God. I just don't have it in me. I had to revisit the Adam Gase saga already this show. Can't do it. Hit the like button. Ladies and gentlemen, Bang Mateo with a positive super chat. Psych. The good coaches want no part of us. Left with scraps. That's just not true. They've been able to interview several of the quote-unquote top candidates. Mike Vrabel interviewed with them first. But if they hire your guy, Arthur Smith, I'll be disgusted. I want to make it clear. We have some fake beast breakers in the chat. The only actual beast breaker is Stormrocks877. If you see the other name beast breaker, that's not his actual account. All right? Got a lot of phonies out there. There's only one beast. And he calls into this show. And when he does, we like to do something called Unleash the Beast.
Holy crap, here comes Beast Breaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beast Breaker always has some salient points.
Hello, Beast.
Good evening. You noticed, huh? Going a little retro.
Here. Oh, throwback. Piazza?
That's right. Number 31. That guy was a great hitter when he was with the Dodgers. He did great with that. And when he came to the Mets, he did very great. There's a lot of fake beast breakers on here, and I'm going to say this. Hey, to all you fake clowns out here, get your monkey asses out of here and leave town immediately. And this morning, I was not in the best of moods. I was in a very angry mood. And knowing me, I have a temper on me, and I got to worry about this. I've had several panic attacks because of asshole-like people that I've had dealt with for years. I came here to talk football, not bullshit. Because if this is going to be like this, I'm going to unleash hell on every single one of these dickheads right now. You want me to do this, Jake?
Beast, the floor is yours for right now.
All right.
But be careful, Beast, because there's a 10 membership bounty on you, and we saw what happened.
Don't worry, I'm not going to be long here. I'm not going to be long on here.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this right now. Peter Castro, you are a disgrace to me, you piece of crap. If I was your father, I'd slap you and give you a kick in the ass till you go to your room, you jerk. And Mike D's nuts, you should be named Reed D's cheese balls in your ass.
Got him.
I hate people who make me this angry. I gotta worry about my heart condition and everything. Peter Castro, I am gonna swear to God, I'm gonna take you out back. And if I swear to God, if I got you in a UFC ring, I beat the shit out of you, you son of a bitch. Try me again, asshole, you freaking prick. Enough of the crap. I came here to talk football, I came here to talk business, and this is how this is how shit I get. Everyone here, stop pissing me off. Now to get down to business. This McCarthy person, how well do you know him?
He was in my wedding. I know him very well.
Okay, what's his numbers?
He won a lot of games, won a Super Bowl.
Okay, is he qualified for this job?
Beast.
Fuck you!
We'll see you later.
You're nothing but a pile of old gabagool. Offensive line, defensive line. Offensive line. The first thing I'm going to address.
No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites.
Boys. I shave every day. I also represent real people of Japan.
You understand
here,
me?
now let's concentrate on football. Are you seriously on crack? I think somebody's going to call the crack department. Retarded questions. How about you bend over and taking up the booty hole behind the 7-Eleven?
Mimosa has sent Beast to the hole. A $50 super chat. 10 raffle entries for Mimosa, who I hope you were watching earlier, Mimosa. You won the helmet, the full-size helmet. Hamburger writes in Mimosa, taking out the trash. Sarah writes in, so long, farewell. Mike D's nuts, shouting out Mimosa. Oscar says, I love how he gives the finger before he leaps. David Aaron writes in, family show. Yep, let me play this.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
I mean, once you issue that, then you can say anything, right? Man, what a turn of events. That's no ghost writes in, I miss Beast already. This is what I mean. He leaves, and immediately people want him back. I've never seen anything like this Beast Breaker phenomenon. And you never know what version of Beast you're going to get too. Sometimes he comes out and he's very jolly, very jovial. And other times he comes out like a freight train, man. You never know what version you're going to get. Sometimes you get that version. Sometimes you get this version.
I'm better, Beast. How you doing?
Hey, hey, you know we sang you that Whopper song. Hey, Jake, let's give him that Whopper song. Whopper, Whopper at BK. We're on the move at BK. Have it your way. You rule.
You rule, yeah.
Hey, I hope you get that job at Burger King, my friend. You
never know what you're going to get. John B, Beast greater than his haters. This is what I mean. If we run the poll, it's typically 50-50. Unbelievable. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited about our next caller because before this show started, he gave us some breaking news.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Bobby Midnight has showered. Bobby, tell the audience what you did.
Yes, I went with Jake's father. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. You told me to heat some water. I got 4 pots, heated them up with hot water. So then I carried them all the way into the bathroom. Then I went into the tub and then poured 2 of them over my head and get all wet and soaked up, fired up. Then the last 2, I rinsed off 2 of them, and then it works that way. I just don't like cold water.
You look clean. You don't look like you smell anymore.
No, I shaved.
You shaved. You took a shower. Jay Graves says Bobby took a medieval shower.
Medieval, yeah. Well, I'd rather take the medieval than cold shower. Then I use
A little Old Spice. You need some Mando deodorant, Bob.
Yeah, I gotta get. How much does that cost? I gotta get some.
I'll get them to send you. They're big fans of you.
They because they stink.
Yeah, they're like, Bobby's our clientele. I'm like, I know. You should sponsor the Bobby Midnight Show. I'll tell them we're a package deal when I redo my contract with them. Sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Tell Beast he gotta come back. He's a great guy.
So you like Beast, right? What's your message to those who don't like Beast?
Well, Beast, you gotta understand him. He needs to calm down. No yelling, like sometimes I yell, but that's not good to our people out there, Jake Show. But when he talks good, he calms down, then he brings out a lot of complaints that Jake brought up. So that's
He always asked about you too when you were sick. He always wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I heard that. That was very nice of him. After the stuff I gave him, man, I'm surprised he said that.
Now you guys have come a long way.
Yeah, we did. Like Big Phil said, we gotta forgive and forget. So I did
100%.
South there, even too.
Yeah.
So that's good. The next step is to get a haircut, and I'm still waiting on the lady. I think she had the weekend off. So
wow, Papa Jet just dropped a $50 super chat to free the Beast.
Oh my God! Here he goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beast Breaker, you're freed. If you call back in, you're eligible to return to the program immediately.
And I do like Mike Piazza. I want Mike McCarthy. They should get him too.
You want Mike McCarthy? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I wanted, who I wanted, but he went to the smelly ass Patriots.
That's right.
And then I wanted. No, he's a good guy. Is he still on the contract, the quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys?
Dak Prescott is still the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Is that what you're
How
asking?
many more years does he have to go?
He just signed a new deal, so he's their long-term quarterback.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I wish we got him.
Dave Brigger writes in, Bobby, speak some sense into Beast Breaker.
Oh, I don't have to. He's already warmed me up. B-Mac, I took care of this morning.
He did.
We don't want to see him ever again. The next time he gets on, I'm going to call up and just tell him what. PBM is going to destroy him. Destroy
I don't
him.
know. I think B-Mac will put him in a chokehold.
Purple belt Mike's got to whip his ass.
Yeah, B-Mac is a black belt. All right. Purple belt Mike is a purple belt. Yeah,
no, he's not. No, he's a pink belt.
He is. He just hasn't told you yet.
He is not. He's a pink belt.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
He wears pink undies all the time. That's what he wears, Big Mac.
That's no Ghost Road. An all-new Asmaniac movie production, A Tale as Old as Time, Bobby and the Beast. Would you watch that?
Yeah, I like that, Bobby and the Beast. Like Beauty and the Beast, Bobby and the Beast. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
It's funny, huh? Pretty funny.
Hey, I'm friends with that ghost guy.
Big fella writes in, Jake, the Beast Breaker bounty has me laughing my ass off. This was before Papa Jet paid $50 to release him. Papa, he is not on hold. But I promise you, as soon as he calls back in, if he does, he's free. And let's say
Poor
Beast maybe left the show.
Poor Mimosa.
Look, we have rules around here, Bobby. I'm a capplefish. You know this.
I know, I am too.
I have bills to pay, rent, all that.
I do too. I gotta get
Nick's tickets.
Jive, like you and Nick suggested. Not this isn't going to pay you. Right?
Let's get into the Burger King situation. I haven't heard an update from you. You applied for the job.
I just said she was on the weekend, so hopefully by tomorrow we'll find out.
Are they going to call you to interview, or you already did the interview?
I'll call them. It's a lot better when you keep on calling them. that means that.
So are you calling them to interview, or you're calling them to find out if you got the job? How does this work?
Probably interview got the job. Last time I got the job at the Holiday Inn, he did really hard interview me. He what is that? Indeed. It's called. I got that from Indeed.
You got a job at the Holiday Inn off Indeed.com?
Yeah.
Right.
And he's from New York originally too. The manager down there. And tomorrow's weigh-in, 10 o'clock tomorrow. Next show, so tomorrow's definitely 11.
You got to keep us posted on the job, all right?
Yeah, I will tomorrow. I'll call in early tomorrow. I always keep up with this stuff. So
it's good to see you wearing the Yankees hat as well.
Yes, I told you.
That's not the OG one, though, is it? No, it's the one I got you. Yep.
You gotta find that. Still there somewhere.
I want the one that Babe Ruth wore. That thing was so old. Yeah. He was wearing that in the 20s.
Well, that's what I was wearing on the thing. And
yeah, this is the Bobby Midnight hat that I want here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it's probably not even as dirty as it is in this photo because this is years ago. But this is the hat I'm talking about.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Yeah.
I don't know. When did you do that? When was the Bob in Vermont video?
That was about 4 years ago now.
Yeah, so that hat, I mean, it's even older now.
Because I know my friend Bad Dog. I know him for 8 years already. His kid is 8 years old. You believe that?
Wow.
I know him since he was a little kid. Oh, I think he's back.
David D writes in, Burger King is currently interviewing Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, and Bobby Midnight.
Yeah, David D. Hey, he's in the back. He said, Jake, I'm ready.
I don't see him. He's not in the back.
Right now on the beach. He says, I'm ready.
You're behind. That was earlier when I let him on the first time.
Oh, okay. I read the wrong one. Sorry.
Addison checks in. The great Addison, co-host of the Bobby Midnight program. Bobby back in a Yankee hat. The world is healing.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers are not healing. Ah.
Gross.
Grotesque. Michael loves Mookie Betts.
Jake Quest says, BB has taken over Bobby's reign. Thoughts, Jake? I think they can coexist. I think Bobby and Beast have a friendship. I don't think there's any animosity.
I know. Jake Quest, like, he got the same thing. He went to Ted U, pot stirrer, number one. But I have to thank him for knocking me on my ass. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Because you know why? If he didn't do that, Nick wouldn't have came up with this idea. So we got to thank Jake Quest. Show the picture again.
You mean the video of you falling on your rear end?
Yeah, and then play the stinky one. I like that.
When was the last time you took a shower?
I don't know. Thursday evening.
You haven't showered since Thursday?
Yeah,
you probably reek. Oh.
He stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be disgusting. Oh. Well, you look a lot better. Look, one day makes all the difference. That was yesterday, and now look at you. You look like a normal person again now you showered.
Was that Jim Carrey behind me over here?
I didn't see. I wasn't watching.
I think it was Jim Carrey. But the other one, too, show the one I fell on my butt.
Hold on. I have some housekeeping first. Mother effing Chew has gifted a channel membership.
Yeah, I like it.
Stop. Let's go, Chew. Listener Bartholomew received the membership. We're up to 17 memberships added for our next raffle. How about this giveaway, Bobby? How about this? A signed Garrett Wilson helmet.
Helmets from? Where you get them from? The NFL itself.
I asked Garrett. I said, "Hey man, the Asmaniacs need a big prize. You're my favorite Jet. Can you help me out?"
No, where did you get it from? NFL, right? Something like that.
No, from Garrett.
You sure? What was the other helmet from?
The other helmet was from Fanatics.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant. Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have to take good old Jake Quest from that.
Mark writes in, how big of a super chat to throw Bobby in the hole? Oh, the standard is $50. And Bobby understands. He's a capel fish like I am. Why would you want to throw Bobby in the hole? What did Bobby do? He took a shower. He looked great.
I never know you. So won't you just let the door kick you in the ass? Don't let the door kick you in the ass.
I agree.
If he puts me in your show's almost over. Big deal. Marco, blow yourself. That's all I have to say.
Did I miss any super chats here? Mr. Downtown writes, and I do not understand the McCarthy pushback. 43-25 at Dallas, 3 playoff appearances. We haven't had a head coach leave us with a positive win percentage since Al Groh. I agree, Mr. Downtown.
He coached on Green Bay. Remember that? He won
a Super Bowl
in the playoffs. Yeah, so wrong. I want him to go to the Jets.
And Al Groh coached 1 year, so like even bringing up Al Groh's career winning
don't
percentage.
Bring that guy. Didn't he coach the Giants at one time?
Al Groh?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Who was the crappiest? I met him one day. I can't remember. He was after like the Bill Parcells years. He was an older man. What was his name? He was horrible. I met him in person. So
JoJo Super Chats. Glad to see the OG Bobby back in the Yankee hat.
Yes, JoJo Thompson. And I told him I took a shower. He was pretty proud. I think I'm going to do that from now on until we get the thing.
Yeah, you could just boil some water and clean yourself up. Use a washcloth.
Yeah, that's what I did. Your dad came up with a good idea. Boil the water first.
Jake Quest writes in, Jake, thoughts on Bobby attacking Connor on calling a PI call soft?
Okay, I made a mistake. Nick had me, V-Man, Charles Gorman, and Lane Train on it. I thought he was calling the soft callers. He meant the pass interference call in the game.
You flipped out on 13-year-old Connor Long?
Yeah, I apologize. Jake Quest, you're the pot stirrer, so shut up. But I thank you for knocking me on my.
I think Jake Quest stirs the pot more than Ted.
No, I think Jake Quest. No, maybe
I think Jake Quest is more of a pot stirrer than Ted, honestly.
He's getting there.
Yeah, I really do think that. All right, Bobby. Well, I'm glad you showered. We covered a lot. You keep us posted on Burger King, all right?
And then I got to show you when I get my hair cut, too. Oh,
please.
Man. I look like a freaking dog. Look at this. I have hat hair.
Yeah.
Hat hair doesn't look good. Especially when you try to get a new job.
I see.
Hey, thanks, Jake, for having me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight.
Well, you know I love the Yankees and the Jets, and to read the Super Chats are more than just a hat. Bobby.
All right, I have like elite Asmaniacs on hold right now. Like I don't even know who to go to next. I do know I got to do this though because, ladies and gentlemen, his freedom was bought. Papa Jet, excuse me. Take him out, Jake. Papa loves the beast. He's pure entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, he was sent to the hole, and now he was revived because a lot of people out there are fans of this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to unleash the beast.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gobble-goo.
You can't get rid of him. You can only hope to contain him. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beast has returned. What's up, Beast?
I'm just trying to lay down right now after screaming my guts up. I got enough pain in the left side of my stomach is hurting right now because of just screaming. I have a vicious temper on me, and because I have that, that anger. I have an anger problem because people don't freaking goddamn listen anymore. Nobody cares anymore. We got rookie losers on here that have the balls to freaking grow. Half of them don't have a clue because I'm trying to get my point across, and they still don't get it because they're too stupid. And this is why I lose my temper because I got a fucking violent side on me.
I'll tell you what, Beast. Here's what I would recommend you do. Take a deep breath, relax, and just know that you got a lot of supporters out there. Don't listen to the chat.
I know that, but we got a lot of idiots. It's just I got enough trouble. I'm trying to get my life back together, and it's a mess. I lost my own daughter because she won't cooperate. And then I got to deal with all the freaking shit that I have to put up with. Hey, to Peter Castro, you pissed me off again. I'm gonna belch you one from here to New Jersey, and then all the way down to Philadelphia, and then I'll kick your ass from Cincinnati to California. You stupid prick!
And anyone who pisses me off even more, I'm going to freaking blast you with one freaking punch.
Beast, take a deep breath, all right? Did you see Chiefs fans call yesterday? He told us about meditating. Let's meditate right now. Let's relax. Let's relax. Take a breath. You have a lot of supporters out there, Beast.
Yes,
Don't
I know
listen to
that.
the chat. They're trying to bait you. They're trying to troll you. They want you to explode. They want you to go crazy. Don't give in to them. Don't let them win.
Let me tell you something, you rookies. You think you know me, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Because as dumb as you all have become, you all sank your ship and you become a bunch of wannabe idiotic fools. You're not Jet fans. You're a bunch of trolls. All you do is hide, and all you do is lie. And you can't man up. You couldn't lace my boots, touch my jock, carry my bags, or even do anything correct because you're stupid. Because your ideas are no worse than invalid, cheap, and slutty. And anybody who insults ECW or anything old school doesn't know their ass from a rocket launcher. I've had enough. Now, preseason's coming up. We need to prepare, and I'm going to prepare by doing one thing and one thing only. I'm going to try to get my head together and calm down and just get back to form. But I'm going to say this for everybody. Preseason, that's prehistoric shit. But when regular season starts, no more of this fooling around bullshit. No more of this other bullshit. We're going to win, and we're going to win now.
Beast,
enough is enough of the crying.
Look at you earlier. Yeah, I'm worried about you. We got to just take a breath, all right? Mellow out. Preseason's months from now. We got to get a GM in place. We got to get a coach.
Yeah, I know. I know that. Oh, I know that. I know that feeling. It's just I'm one of those kind of guys that I know when it's time to say you all better get your act together because this is bullshit. I'm sick and tired of it. You know, I have enough problems with my heart. I got enough tempers that I've already had to deal with. And then, I'm trying to get my act together because everything nowadays is like, it's fight. Enough's enough. You rookies need to grow up. I'm sick of you soy boys on here trying to put me down. Well, the only thing that's going to put you down is me. Because you know what? I'm a 27-year veteran. I've been around the Jets since 98. So either shut up and learn to listen and stop being a bunch of bitches on your rag. I'm not a woman. I'm a man with balls of steel. I may have a temper, but I don't play your pity. Don't give me your self-denial either because you know what? The only thing that separates men from the boys, guts. And guts is enough. I know when it's time to lay it down, and I know when it's time to lay down the law. JV free. Hey, asshole! You want me to take your neck and break you into 1,000 pieces like a jigsaw puzzle? You screwball! Hey, Mike D's nuts! Go choke on your cheese balls, you jerk off! I'm sick of you too. I ought to take your head and ram it through a car window, jerk! Sarah, you're cute. I understand that, but get out of the way. Get out of the way. These soy boys need to learn discipline. This is what this country's lacking because we have no discipline because all we got is pussies who hide in their parents' basement or in their bedroom.
We apologize for the foul language.
Beast, thanks for the time. We'll let you calm down a little bit. Just take a breath, man. Take a breath. All right? It's all good. It's going to be okay. The chat is trying to bait you, Beast. Don't let them win. Every time you call in, Peter Castro is going to chirp you. You respond every time. And then Peter Castro sits there and he laughs his ass off. Don't let Castro win, Beast. That's the problem. You're sitting there and you're messing with the wrong guy. This is Peter Castro, all right? He knows coaches the Jets need to hire.
We got to get rid of Yolbrick and then go after Gabriel first. Then I want Queensberry. Got to look at the monkey guy. I like Flo Knees. And maybe Slow Dick in Houston is the answer.
Just take a breath, Beast. It's going to be okay. I know what we need right now. You just mentioned this person on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about this. I don't get to talk to this person very often. But now is the time. to do something special.
She's from Australia, the golden blonde beauty. Can't live without her, that girl makes me freaky. Sarah the angel is everyone's sweetie. If she dumps her husband, I'll be her next beefy. Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
Wow.
Sarah, what a show this has been. How we have Craig calling in, now you, 2 calls from Australia. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's right up there. I tell you what, I'm sorry, but my heart rate is through the roof. Seeing Beast talk. Beast, you just need to calm down, breathe. You need to do yoga or Pilates or something. Just relax a bit. Don't let everything get to you so much.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm honestly, I'm all anxious from watching him.
He makes some salient points. He just needs to get to him. The problem is he keeps getting derailed by the chat coming after him. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, don't read the chat. Just ignore it.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Anyway, how are you, Jakey boy?
I'm good, Sarah. I am excited for your future. I will be living vicariously through you over the next
Yes, I did
several
see your
weeks.
comment yesterday on Nick's show.
Yes.
Anyway.
Would you expect anything different?
No, not really. Craig just messaged me. Craig was trying to put me in the hole before. Excuse me, Craig. That's not nice. Anyway.
Sarah,
Stop
you know I'm
it,
a fan. 10 memberships and you go to the hole. I'm a capel fish, as Bobby would
Put me
say.
in the hole. See if I care.
The hole's fun. You've never been?
Don't do it.
Have you been?
Pardon?
Have you been to the hole
No,
before?
I've not.
It's a great place. I mean, Beast Breakers there like 3 times a day.
But do you really want to put me in the hole? That's a bit mean.
I
Do it to
don't,
me.
but you know, New York City's
I
expensive.
don't, but I like money, so
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I got this question here from Addison. Would you hang out with Beast Breaker in Manhattan for a night? The answer is obviously yes, but I'm going to flip the question around to Sarah. Sarah, Beast Breaker, he's traveling to Australia. Would you, Craig, and let's say Hawk have a wonderful time out and about in Australia?
What with Beast?
Yes, you, Beast, Craig, and Hawk.
Maybe if he stops yelling so much.
He promises
And
to not yell.
Yeah, well, then I'm sure we would. It's always
Right.
a good time when Craig and I are around, and throw Hawk into the mix and we're winning.
It's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
David writes in, great advice, Sarah, regarding Beast.
Thank you, David. I'm still anxious from watching him. He just needs to, I feel like he's going to explode.
I know.
He just needs to just breathe and just calm down. I think, you know what would be good? Him and King Lowski. We haven't seen King Lowski for a while. Bring back King Lowski.
Well, Sarah, I'll tell you what. I could bring back King Lowski because King Lowski, I'd argue, is right up there with any of the best callers that has ever been a part of the show.
Oh, absolutely. I remember seeing when I was all new to this, he was the one that Craig would always show me, and I would just sit there laughing because I thought he was great.
We're never going to know.
Oh, Rick.
Sarah, you had a great run. Thank you for everything. Farewell.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Rick Kent, of all the people to stick a knife in Sarah's back, Rick Kent just put Sarah in the hole. Unbelievable. Now we've really gone too far. Rick Kent, Mr. Nice Guy, not so fast. I was just thinking this is like when Hulk Hogan turned heel and ISU already beat me to the comment. Rick Kent, heel turn like Hulk Hogan. Yeah, man. Rick Kent's now an NWO. Or it was NWA. I forgot it. I just watched the Vince McMahon doc a couple weeks ago. Unbelievable. If someone brings Sarah back, we'll bring her back on. This will be her last comment. Dead to me. Sarah, farewell. We'll bring you back if someone pays for it. Unbelievable. Rob writes in, Jake, will 10 get Sarah out of the hole? Absolutely. Absolutely. 10 memberships will get Sarah out of the hole. Rick Kent, it's 20 now, unless this is to get Sarah back from the hole. I don't know. Rick Kent wrote, okay, take her out. Sarah, you're free. You're free. Rick Kent, this is legendary, man. We have never seen bounties fly off the shelves like this. Forget memberships. That's what these are at this point. They're bounties. Sarah, in 10 seconds, you'll be free. Officially, from Rick Kent. Unreal. Rick Kent, money bags. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Kent. I got 10 names to now read from the first one and then 10 more. Wow, hold on. All right, here we go. The first 10 from Rick Kent, and these are all going towards the Garrett Wilson autograph helmet because that's our next raffle. Gary King, Joseph Chirella, Bobby Saratoga, Alex Johnson, Benny Bronx, Jeff DeJet, Derek S., NC Jet, Doug Medler, Seymour Butts. Love that name. Those are the first 10. Another 10 from Rick Kent. Jaime Gonzalez, Robin Boy Wonders, Theodore Gauntlet, My Opinion, Teron Fuller, Fendi 007, Edison James Jr. Is that everything? Michael Berkeley, Rudy Harkley, all just received channel memberships. What a show. You can't make it up. Sarah, you are free if you want to call in. We'll have you on immediately, and you can comment again. Your ban has been lifted. Rick Kent, the old bait and switch. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I received a message from the #1 ranked caller in the month of December, Charles Eugene Gorman. He wrote, be right back, guys. Dinner is officially ready. And he was telling the truth. Charles Gorman is not here. But when will he return? Hopefully soon, because I have to get to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks game shortly. All right, more of your calls. But first, we say hello to Sarah, who has returned from the hole. Hello, Sarah. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
What was it like to be sent to the hole?
Putting me in the hole and then taking me out again.
What was the reaction? What was going through your mind as Rick Kent, someone you thought was a friend of yours?
I know. I thought he was a friend. You know, if he didn't bring me back, then I don't know what it would have been. I would have been hell dirty on him. But now he's good. He brought me back, so I'm okay again.
He's good. I love that. All right.
I love Mr. Kent. We love Mr. Kent, don't we?
Richard writes in, Sarah, how does it feel to be betrayed?
No. It was feeling crap, but then he brought me back. So that took out everything again. So that's fine.
I see.
Yeah. If it was anybody else that brought me back, I'd still be pissed off. But anyway, sorry. I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Sorry, I swore.
It's okay. A lot worse has been said the last couple of weeks on this show.
Okay.
Hector writes in, Sarah, let's go on a date.
Hector, I'm sorry, I'm taken. Surely you've heard.
I don't know. I don't know if Hector watches the Bobby Midnight program.
It's not just on the Bobby Midnight program.
The Nick Shine show as well. You don't call this show that much. I'm always like, I get like sloppy thirds when it comes to Sarah's calls on this program.
No, that's not true, Jakey boy. You're just too popular.
I'll give you a pass. The time difference makes it tough because I'm on during the day.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah. I'm sorry. You have lots of call-ins. I wouldn't be top of the list.
Also, can I tell you how badly I just screwed something up? I just missed a golden opportunity. So you were sent to the hole. And while I don't have a whole video for you, I could have played this.
Now look what you've done, Hawk. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat.
Had it, and I forgot I had it. Sad.
Oh, that's okay. Next time. Maybe when I get sent to the hole again by Rick.
Maybe next time. Well, Sarah, I'm glad you're back. Thank you for calling. We love your calls, and hopefully
No
you call
worries.
more.
Yep, we'll do. Oh, I know Craig will be here soon, so maybe he'll call in when he gets
Ooh,
here.
all right, if I'm still on,
He keeps
pop in.
messaging me. He's like, hang on there.
I love it.
So-
All right, if he calls back in, we'll get you two together.
Alrighty.
Sarah, all the love. The great Sarah in Australia, co-worker of Craig in Australia. Let's do back-to-back 4%ers. Jay Graves is up next. Hello, Jay Graves.
I leave the country for a day and a half, and we got Rick Kent sending Sarah to the hole. What is happening?
How's Italy?
It's amazing. I was in Rome today. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
You see the Coliseum?
Yes. So I was kind of bummed. We were around the Coliseum. I thought we were having a tour inside. We did not, but I have pictures of me outside the Coliseum. I did the Vatican. I did the Sistine Chapel. I did St. Peter's Church. It is really cool. It was awesome.
Love that. That's cool. I've never been to Italy. It's on my bucket list of European countries, though, for sure.
You definitely have to go. It's really cool. The history, in buildings that are 2,000 years old. I mean, stuff's older than our country. It was really cool.
What's the weather there now?
So it is winter here. So we were in like the low 50s. So I mean, I left home. It was like snowing the night before I left. It was in the 30s. So it's better here than it was. But actually, there's 28 of us on this bus tour, and there's 3 groups from Australia. They're the most popular people, and there's a group from Adelaide. I was like, I know people in Adelaide. Yeah. So I want to be like, do you know Craig and Sarah from Adelaide? Because if you're from Adelaide, you know everybody from Adelaide, right?
Of course. That's great. Well, I wonder if you see anyone with jet skier, ask them if they're an Asmaniac.
I should. I have been the only one in jet skier. I want to be like, do you know Craig, the Jets fan from Adelaide?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, you'll see Yankee hats all over the world, but jet stuff, I'm not so sure.
I honestly haven't seen Yankee hats here.
Interesting. You will. You'll definitely see it.
Well, so tomorrow we leave for Pisa, Florence, and Tuscany. So I leave Rome. So maybe I'll see some more people.
Nice. Well, you got to call us from some of these spots if I'm live during any of it. Uh-oh. The Italian Wi-Fi get rid of Jay Graves? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's frozen.
My bad. Oh.
Jay Graves?
My shitty internet. Play your little Smash internet thing.
My computer's exploding.
B-Mac, look at my TV. B-Mac, I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets, go Jets.
Oh, all right. I guess it's just me by myself. Well, Jay Graves, I just want to say I hope you are enjoying your time in Italy. I love it there. You know what I mean? But my grandparents went there, so if anybody's giving you a tough time, let me know. You know what I mean? I can come in there and take care of you. You know what I mean? I'm glad you are enjoying yourself down there. Now let me get to Beast Faker. Beast Faker, you've been calling me out, all right? And I just want to let you know, man, you need an inhaler, and you need to take that inhaler and you need to put it in your mouth and blow it about 5 times, man, because you're about to have a heart attack, all right? Sit your fat ass down, get something to eat, all right? Get a TV dinner, pop it in, all right? Sit down, watch The Simpsons, eat, relax, and chill and rest, all right? Because you are not in good health, my man, all right? You are not in good health. Yeah, well, guess what, Beast? My internet is way better than yours, my man. All right, your internet sounds like it's like chops, like choop 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 choop, because your internet is terrible. Yes, my internet's not perfect, but it's way better than yours, man. Way better. I apologize, Jake Graves. Did you watch Jake's show? I apologize once, and then the second one wasn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Okay,
Do
hold on. Let me.
I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
All right. Are you really a martial artist? Like, do you really do UFC and stuff?
I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Matt Serra is my coach. I'm going to show you my belt. Just because
cool.
You decided to ask a genuine question. So, this is my white belt when I was a white belt. This is my blue belt when I was a blue belt.
Okay.
And my purple belt is in my jiu-jitsu bag. Right here.
Okay.
Sarah BJJ purple belt. So, there you go.
All right.
You said you would put me in a guillotine. Do you know what a guillotine is? Genuine question.
No, I do, because I watch a ton of like UFC stuff, like, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's like a guillotine. It's kind of like a headlock, but it's like you put someone's head on your arm and you squeeze into that person.
It's not a headlock, because a headlock.
No.
I mean,
It's a rumble, Mike. What are we doing? The teaching him about martial arts, and we're rumbling here. What are we doing?
Jake, I'm getting there. Just, I'm not going to scream and yell on top of each other, because it doesn't go anywhere. Asking him a question. So, have you ever done a guillotine before in your life?
I never put anyone in the guillotine, but I seen on TV. No.
So, all right. So, some advice.
Yeah.
Don't say that you could choke somebody out.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
So,
wait, hold on, BM.
Look at this! It's a little joke. It's a little joke right here. I'm going to take a school right now.
Hold on, Beast Breaker. Hold on a second.
Calm down, buddy.
Hold on. Wait. So, B-Mac, just some advice.
Get a bagel.
Hey, just some advice. Listen, don't say you can choke someone out and you can put somebody in guillotines and all that stuff if you've never done it before. That's the advice I want to give you. And look, I can forgive you for Jake Graves, and everyone will, if you do one thing. You got to contribute to the show, which means you got to give 10 memberships. You give 10 memberships, then we're good, because you got to contribute to the show. I'm tired of fighting and all this shit, whatever. I'll forgive you if you show your forgiveness by giving 10 memberships. If you do that, then I will stop hating on you. But if you don't, I'm going to keep going after you. Okay?
So, wait, hold on. So, I have to give my money up to be a part of the show?
You got to help 10 Asmaniacs to prove that you're a real Asmaniac. That's what that means. 10 different memberships. 10. I've contributed to the show. A lot of people contribute to the show. If you can contribute, then you show repentance, because you made a big mistake. You said you fight women, dude. That's a big fucking no-no. Big no-no. So you said sorry.
Good point there, PBM.
I'll accept it if you go back to the Asmaniacs and you give 10 people membership. Then I know that you're really part of the show. You care about us and you're sorry. Because anyone can say sorry, but sometimes saying sorry doesn't mean you fucking are sorry. So if you show the rest, then I have a membership already. It's not like I need one. I'm saying to show that you're a real Asmaniac and you're really sorry, you do that, then we're good. Okay?
I can do it.
All right. I'm out. I'm going to watch you guys fight because I really want to see this.
All right. Bitch,
Do you know who I am, Sonny?
You butt down, boy. Sit your butt down, you Paul Heyman wannabe. You are a
Shut
Paul
your
Heyman
JD ass
wannabe.
up. You know who I am? I'm Nas, I'm Master P, and I'm also Old Dirty Bastard. Now shut your pie hole and spit it out.
On behalf
And
of
I'm
the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
I just didn't think it was going to be very productive there. BMAC's internet is a disgrace. So anytime he talks while someone else is talking, it just cuts out. It's just, you can't even hear it. Can't even hear it. Mike, I appreciate you trying to get BMAC to gift memberships, but it's totally okay. BMAC, my advice to you would be, don't say you'd hit women. The chat probably will not like that. In fact, not probably, they never will like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we were waiting for this guy to return. He had what I'm hearing, reports of an epic dinner. We're going to find out just how epic it was. It's Gorman time.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Hey, Jake, how are you?
First off, the mustache looks tremendous, Charles.
Thank you.
My pleasure. How was dinner?
I had turkey meat, turkey breast, sweet potato, and some corn.
Wow. Full onslaught of options there.
Yeah, it was good. I want to say this in regards to the incident with BMAC. No one should be putting their hands on anybody, not just men hitting women, but women should not be hitting men either. Men shouldn't be hitting men, and women should not be hitting other women. I can understand self-defense, but if you're just going to start a physical confrontation with anybody, that's a definite no-no.
Well said, Charles. Absolutely.
Also, I'm not against McCarthy, but at the same time, there have been instances during his time in Green Bay where players didn't respect him, where players didn't listen to him, where they didn't respect him as an authoritative figure of the team. That, to me, is kind of a red flag. I'm not saying he's a bad dude or a bad coach, but at the same time, every coach has their red flags, and I think Mike McCarthy has some pretty big red flags.
Well, he's not perfect, but, he did a pretty good job in Dallas, all things considered.
I'm not denying that. Dallas is, no disrespect to the Cowboys fans, but Dallas is a shithole. Jerry Jones is the biggest douchebag in the NFL. He doesn't allow –
But that's why I like McCarthy for the Jets over some of the other guys they've talked to, because if you could handle Jerry Jones and still find a way to win 12 games, 3 straight years, go to the playoffs, then you can handle Woody Johnson. You can handle the New York media. I feel like Mike McCarthy proved he's a pretty good football coach. No one's saying that he's, the best coach in the NFL, but I'll take him over Arthur Smith, Matt Nagy. Some of the names the Jets have interviewed, you can't even compare McCarthy to them.
McCarthy, I know he's an offensive-minded guy, but he's had some pretty good offenses, with the Packers, with Aaron Rodgers, the Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott. And
hired a good coaching staff. Kellen Moore was his hire for OC.
Yeah, who's now the offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's hired good staffs before. He's a good coach. You can't win the amount of games he's won and not be looked at as a good coach. I'm not telling you he's perfect. He's not. But if my option is Mike McCarthy versus some of the other guys they've interviewed, I'm taking Mike McCarthy. That's my point.
I'm not arguing with that necessarily, but I hope to God we don't get Mike Grigson. Is that his name?
Ryan Grigson.
This is the same dude that traded for one of the worst running backs of all time, Trent Richardson. And that, even though the Colts won, they did it in spite of Trent Richardson. Andrew Luck was a very good quarterback for a long time. Unfortunately, injuries and concussions derailed his career down the stretch. But, I wouldn't want him. I would take Dimitrov or Borgonzi.
Mike Borgonzi.
Borgonzi, yeah, yep. My apologies. I would even take the guy from Detroit, Chris Spielman.
I like Spielman too. He doesn't have experience though, but he's been around the Lions and he helped them with their search. If they're going to hire a first-time GM, I think Borgonzi's probably got the best resume of the guys they've spoken to. If they hire someone with experience, I like Dimitrov. I'm surprised they haven't spoke with John Dorsey to this point. I figured he'd get a request. I actually like the GM candidates. I think they've done a better job with the GM candidates so far than the head coaching candidates.
Yeah.
Now, Chef Kevin just said that you have the Ben McAdoo mustache. I kind of do see that. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, but Ben McAdoo, here's the thing about Ben McAdoo. He was a good offensive coordinator for the Giants, but he was a terrible head coach.
He did go to the playoffs his first year.
Yeah, but they did it in spite of him.
And
They
won
still
11
had
games.
Eli.
They won
still
11
had a good
games.
They still had a good defense. I know he made the playoffs. I'm not denying that, but
Metro Funny says, can we buy Charles a lap dance at the strip club? I will start a link for people to send contributions to. We don't want YouTube getting a cut of that. All right, that's going right to the Venmo. For one Nick Shine for that one. Anyway. Andrew wants you to continue to grow out your mustache, Charles. Your thoughts on that?
how many you let it go for?
You seem distracted, Charles. Why don't you pay attention to me? I need some attention.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you and I'm reading the chat.
I'll relay what the chat is saying. Don't worry. You know I'm good at that.
I know. I'll let it go for about a couple of more weeks.
All right. That's good.
But there's one comment I want to read from here. I thought Joe, speaking of Joe Judge, I thought after 2020, I thought he had the potential to be a good coach. But what he did with the Giants 2021 was an absolute profound disgrace. So he was a big disappointment. What?
Instead of just calling it a disaster or just a regular disgrace, you said it was a profound disgrace. Chicken Jenkins wants to know, Charles, who are your main Marvel rivals?
I haven't played Marvel Rivals in a while. I know the Fantastic Four are part of it, which makes me happy because I love those characters.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm playing Marvel Strike Force on my Google Pixel. It's a good game. It's fun. I played it before on my.
Peter Castro says Charles is the best. That's strong praise from Castro because Castro will tell you exactly where you stand with him at all times.
I appreciate that, Castro. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mike says salient points, Charles.
Someone told me Marvel. I have actually played a little bit of Marvel Contest of Champions. It's fun. I even played a bit of Marvel Future Fight, which was fun as hell too.
Big fella writes in, Charles charging for mustache rides at the club.
I'm still a virgin, so no. Any relation to Charles Manson? No, I am not.
You're the best, Charles. Jay Grizz writes in, I finally watched Deadpool and Wolverine on the flight over here.
What'd you think of it, Jay Graves? Because I know that most people enjoyed it, but I know some people weren't crazy about the story. I love the movie. I love the fan service. You know what's funny? The guy who directed the movie also did the Cheaper by the Dozen movies with Steve Martin and Bonnie Hunt. And he also did Big Fat Liar.
Are you saving yourself for marriage?
For the most part, yes.
All right. Yeah. Are you a man of God?
I believe in God, yes.
Jay Graves said that it was really funny.
I'm glad, Jay Graves. I'm glad. I did hear that the upcoming Captain America movie, which I'm definitely looking forward to, is not going to do that well at the box office, but we'll see. Who the hell knows? Oh, Big Fat Lie. Yes, I love that. That's with Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti, who I really do like as an actor. I like Paul Giamatti a lot.
Gia says, Charles, it would be an honor to be your first.
I appreciate the compliment, Gia, but I'll pass. Thank you. As for the
why are you so quick to pass on Gia? Maybe you two would make a really good couple.
I'm just not interested in Gia.
You don't even know Gia.
I know, but I know she transitioned into a woman fully, but
I don't know if that's true. I don't know where you got that from.
She said it to us on Nick's stream.
I could have been a troll account.
No, she said it herself.
All right, maybe it was Gia. I don't know.
Listen,
Bino wants to know where Eddie Gorman is.
he's still at the dinner table. I just left so I could talk to you guys.
I appreciate you leaving.
Anyway,
you should have taken us to dinner. I would love to talk to the Gormans. Do they want to meet? Do they want to meet Beastbreaker?
Red Hulk, yes.
Okay, completely ignored my question there.
Sorry. Let me think. Rick can't ask me what movie am I looking forward to the most this year. It's definitely the new Superman movie. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know. Then 2 weeks later.
Did you have dessert, Charles? Tom Ace wants to know.
I did not have dessert. No.
Any plans to have dessert?
I will. Not right now. I just had dinner.
Okay. Well,
what's my favorite cold cut? I love turkey, prosciutto, salami, roast beef, cheese, American cheese, cheddar cheese, Jarlsberg Swiss. And that's about it. That all I can think of at this moment. And sometimes chicken breast.
Oscar with an observation. Whenever you ask Charles something he doesn't like, he ignores you and looks at the chat to distract himself. Is this true, Charles?
Sometimes.
Lane wants to know how you feel about the Jets.
How do I feel about the Jets? I really hope they get this stuff right because we need to get a new general manager. We need to get a good head coach. I mean, a good general manager and a good head coach. Because that's, I remember heading into this past season, I remember so many people were saying, could this team be better than the 98 Jets? I said, well, the 98 Jets would have made them so special. And I did somewhat of a live stream on that. And I said, what made the 98 Jets special was the coaching staff, not just the players, but the coaching staff. We had one of the GOATs in Parcells. We had a good defensive coordinator, Belichick. I know, boo, fuck him. Excuse my language. He's in North Carolina. I know Nick Shine's upset about that.
Tom Ace writes in, Charles, is the mustache part of the new year, new you resolution?
No, I'm just wearing a mustache for now.
Killian writes in, Charles, what are your thoughts on B-Man smashing his head against the wall?
I don't remember him doing that. I remember talking with him yesterday on Nick Shine's show. I don't remember bashing his head, but then again, what the hell do I know?
You don't remember?
No, I don't.
You sure?
Let me see. What kind of I'd look like so I could start and make sure she's. Oh my God! Stop it, Nick. Don't worry about the strippers. As for Gabagool, I never knew what the hell Gabagool was.
Completely fell asleep and let himself get bitch slapped by them. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's about to tie Marvin Lewis. Most consecutive playoff losses. Let me finish, okay?
What was that for?
V-Man is very anti-Mike Tomlin. Gator just sent me these. I haven't seen them, so we're going to watch them in real time. Gator, do you have the actual clip of him smashing his head?
Constantly play down to competition. How the hell did he lose to Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson was fucking trash? Let me finish, okay?
And one more.
Why do I want a coach whose fan base wants his head on a pike? Let me finish, okay?
All right. No, we don't have head smashing B-Man. I'll have to find that clip.
But anyway, listen.
Peter wants to know, do you dye your hair?
I don't dye my hair at all. It's my natural color.
All natural? Mr. Magoo wants to know, do you have any prime rib left over?
No.
Nick Shine, did you already answer this when I was trying to find the video?
Yeah, I'm not interested in answering it.
You did? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not interested in a stripper right now.
Yeah, but do you have any thoughts on what your ideal stripper would look like?
What stripper would I want? Other than it looks, a nice woman, a friendly person,
Okay. Craig writes in, how many memberships to put Sarah back in the hole? I'll let Charles decide this.
Why were we putting Sarah in the shadow room? She's a sweetheart. She's a good woman.
She was sent to the hole. Rick Kent did it earlier.
Why did Rick Kent do that?
He went heel. I don't know.
She's a good woman. I know she's a single mom. She's a wonderful person. She gives me some good advice. She gave me some good advice the other day.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Sarah and Craig down in Australia.
Charles, you've got to do it, mate. Give us the number. Come on.
So I was doing it to my boss.
How you doing,
you,
Sarah?
Charles, you're beautiful.
Give us the
Thank
number,
you.
Charles. How many memberships is it going to take? I've got to the office. She's doing nothing. She's got to pay.
She's fine.
I'm trying.
How you doing, Sarah? How's your son?
Charles,
doing?
you'll get 100% of the proceeds to whatever number you tell Craig here. I don't know if that changes things. I don't know if you're a capel fish.
I'm
like
not
Bobby
interested in
Midnight
putting
tonight.
Sarah in the hole. Not at all.
Wow. Loyal man.
Not even for money.
Not even. What a gentleman.
You are a beautiful man.
Charles, are you a single man?
I've been single. Well, I've been single for about 3 years now. So
I don't understand with such a soft heart like that. How is this even
the
possible?
last girlfriend I was with put me in a toxic environment, so I don't want to really get much into that. The mother
see,
was
so-
not very nice.
Her loss. It's her loss, Charles.
And plus, I mean, you know, to sum this up, she was at a third grade level in terms of processing everything, while I was above and beyond that. And there were times where she wanted me at her every beck and call, and that kind of got me and my brother on their nerves from time to time.
So I think we need to find a good Aussie girl for Charles. So
Aussie girl.
There might be room in Hawk's suitcase on the 8th of Feb, perhaps for you
I
to
mean,
come over, Charles.
look, you don't just have to give me you don't have to give me just Australian women. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of very good Australian women out there.
What about New Zealand women,
There's one or
Charles?
two.
What?
What about New Zealand women?
I'm talking to Craig. Well, what'd you say, Craig? I'm sorry.
I'll just leave.
I mean, I know Sarah's a lovely woman. She very much is. She's very beautiful. She's very attractive.
Oh, look, most of the time, but when she starts causing trouble,
She gave you a look like, seriously, man, seriously.
straight to the hole. She's going to the office hole today. I've decided. I've had enough. It has to be done.
I'll go home.
I'll pass,
And-
Gia. I appreciate the compliment, but I see you as a
So-
friend. Hey, Gia.
So tell us about your ideal girl, Charles. What
My
are we
ideal
looking
woman,
for?
I mean, other than the looks, I mean, there are just people out there that just care about the looks or just care about, you know, getting in their pants. I'm not that type of guy. I wasn't raised that
No?
way.
Right.
And also, before I answer, Oscar DeGrasse asked me if body counts matter. I mean, not really. I don't care about that. While they live their life is their business, but I don't think sex has to be the most important thing in a relationship. I mean, if she just wants to use me for sex, I'm not interested. I mean,
What?
Oh,
That's no good.
I mean,
Craig.
if I dated a girl that had body count was like 5, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't automatically think that she's promiscuous, because that would be wrong for me to assume that.
I think
You
the
know,
chat is very concerned with body count at this stage.
My body count is at 0.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
We're going to be playing that Rodgers clip in about 3.5 weeks.
I've seen him.
Congrats on the sex.
I love talking to people. You know, I've talked to a lot of people over the years. I've talked to a lot of attractive women, but I'm afraid there's one thing I am afraid of, and that's kind of getting rejected.
Do you think women are like intimidated by your attractiveness, Charles? Do you
I
think
don't know
that's
if they're
part of the problem?
intimidated by me necessarily. I don't think they would be. I don't think they would be. Every person looks for something different in a romantic partner. You know, right now, one thing I'm looking forward to is a job. Of course, I want to be romantic with a woman, but I need to get a job. My
What are
mother
your
told me
skills?
not too
What are your
long
skills,
ago that
Charles?
she wouldn't have dated my father if he didn't have a job.
Right. What are your skills work-wise?
Well, I'm good with talking to people. You know, I have a pretty decent memory for the most part. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm
You
good
do. This
talking
has
with
not
people.
gone unnoticed.
I love talking to people. You know, when I was a young kid, I used to be called Mr. Mayor. Plus, true story, I used to kiss girls on the hand when I was a kid too.
Oh,
Really?
stop it. You're such a gentleman.
I did.
How's this man single? I don't get it.
I don't get
What's
it
going
either.
on?
Of course, it's funny. There was a point where the girls' moms would tell my mom, "Can you tell him to stop kissing my daughter on the hand?" My mother would be like, "Stop it. He's just a little kid." That was me when I was young. You know, that was me when I was young. You know, that's. You know, I was taught to be a gentleman. You know, I know people say that. Why do I speak like an old soul? Well, I was raised in an old school household. I was raised in an old school. You know, my family's old school, especially my family members.
I think we need to boost your confidence, Charles. I think this is the key, because clearly you're an extremely good guy, and you would look after your girl. So I think we need to work on this.
Yes. Get yourself out there. Like I said to you when you messaged me, get yourself out there. You said you love talking to people. Just get out there and just.
Can I take you out, Charles, when I'm in Manhattan in early
Oh,
May?
stop it. No, that is not true, Nick. Stop making up crap. Would I get
Charles,
married in a church or a comic? I would get married in a church. Why the hell would I get married in a comic book shop?
It's going to get
Yeah, I
real.
would go to mainstream comics and toys, which is in Milltown, and I say, "Do you guys do weddings?" They'd be like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" No, I'm not gonna go. And straighten out my glasses.
Girls don't like crooked glasses. That's better.
Oh God, he's back.
Oh, now he's
I
pissed.
thought you were in the darkness retreat for a minute there, Nick.
No, I had closed out the comment. I couldn't resist the joke with the kissing the hands for the ketchup left over from Burger King. How are we doing?
Good, man. How are
Charles,
you?
you ready for February 1st, dude? I need a description. I need to know what type of female you're looking for.
Well, most women are a type of woman that I want to spend time with, not just as a lover, but as a friend, is a person with patience.
Charles, we're going to a strip club. Scrap all that bullshit. This is not the dating game. Give me a color hair, Charles. Go.
A blonde.
Okay. Sarah, you're hitting 1 for 1. Okay. Now, height. Tall? Short?
Doesn't matter. I even take
Okay.
chunky.
I like that. Skinny? Thick? Medium size?
I said I could take chunky. What the hell's wrong with you?
Okay. All right. Now we have to go. Let's go with skin tone. Are we going like Elmer's
Doesn't
blue?
matter.
All right, you're open. All right, so you're just open to any blonde.
You think it's painful for you, TBF?
All right.
Now look what you've done. Hawk, no more protection. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Am I allowed back on my own show now? Is that okay, Charles? Are we good? All right. Big fella, thank you, because I actually legitimately had to end the show because I'm off to the Garden for the Knicks game tonight. Thank you all who watched. Like the video, Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Merch store, jakeasman.com. If you're a Patreon member, 20% off. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Thank you to everyone. Oh, Craig gifted 5 memberships too. Well, it wasn't enough to negate the $50 super chat that sent Craig and company to the hole. But we will do this for Craig. Yeah. AP got a membership. Jonathan Nelson, Rockness Monster, Jose Lopez. And there's got to be one more in there. That wasn't 5. H2O Field. Your 5 members at the buzzer. Thank you all. Unreal show. We're back tomorrow. And we got Sabo at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll get into the coaching search with him. Thank you all. Calls were incredible. Beast Breaker, please take a deep breath. Love you all. Go Jets. Maybe they won't suck this year. That will be nice. In the words of Charles Gorman, I'll smell you later.
Excuse me.